This. Good. I'm gonna have to try that build. I totally forgot I did that build. $15 till. Yeah, they ain't doing crap yet. This is the actual Smite channel I'm watching over here. They're not doing nothing yet. So I'm just messing with builds until we get going. Dun, 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 dun. Hmm. Yeah, hopefully they put out some good information today. That's all I know. uh, I know we're gonna get some changes to Kali. That's pretty much the blunt of it. They might be adding some new items too, because I've been seeing a lot of hints. I know I saw a ring. I saw like some type of sword or dagger. So we might be getting an announcement of some new items today. So we'll see. We'll see. My dog's knocked out. I think this worked out really good, actually. I wonder if a heavy cooldown would be more cooldown would be better than Soul Reaver. Hmm. Gym isolation seems like it would be nice too now that they made it where it's 2.5. And like I said, I'm just killing time until the thing starts. We still got another 12, 14 minutes or so. Actually, if you see at the bottom right or bottom left of your screen, that's the actual Smite channel. So I'm just keeping an eye on it until they go live, and then we'll switch over to the update. You know what? I'm very tempted of trying that gym of isolation. That or that freaking Spear of the Magus. What is it? Affects last 8 seconds. It can only occur once every 15 seconds. 85 power though, dude. That's a lot. How much is this book? Soul Reaver. So, yeah, Soul Reaver, they get 300. Interesting. I'm always messing with my cuckoo build, dude. I'm always messing with it. Didn't they have a glyph? Like that hunger glyph? I bet you that would work good. Magic power mana. Gains a stack of hunger. Every 15 seconds, you gain a stack of hunger. So there's a cast within 30 units of the enemy. Gas consume. Okay, there. No, I don't miss nothing. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't need that. Hey, what's up, UK Paul? I'm just killing time until we still got like 12 minutes. So I'm just messing around with builds for now until until the thing starts. And the bottom right corner, that's their Smite channel right now on Twitch. So they ain't really doing nothing just yet. I'm always messing with my cuckoo bill. What's up, Olivia? What's going on? What's going on? Where's my? Oh, I can't do my. I guess I can. Yeah, when I'm in this intermission thing, I don't think it works with my little memes and stuff. What time is it? We still got 10 minutes. We still got 10 minutes. I don't know, man. I don't know that Soul Reaver's. I think I can replace that Soul Reaver, tell you the truth. I like having that passive damage. But I think it'd be funny to make him tankier. I don't want to make him so tanky that he's not doing no damage, though. Slow every 2.5 seconds would be funny. 60. An extra 10% cooldown reduction wouldn't be bad either. You'd be spitting out those freaking whirlwinds like going out of style, dude. I don't know. When you damage an enemy guy with an ability, you steal 8% max mana as well as 6% max. Oh no, that ain't not going yet. Refresh it, make sure we don't miss nothing. Nope, not yet. I don't know, dude. There's I think we're getting some new items today. I think they're gonna announce some new items. I think they're gonna announce maybe a ring, a dagger, and something else. And then there's gonna be some changes to Kali. I've been seeing people talk about. Other than that, I don't know what the hell they're gonna be changing. And of course, we're gonna get the new battle pass too, so that'll be cool. That will be cool. 20% pin. I mean, he doesn't have no pin. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So we're getting close now. You know, I don't know. That thing does do a little bit of damage, don't it? It gives them mana, but it gives them life steal too. Every 15 seconds, gain a stack of hunger, max 3 stacks. Abilities cast with, yeah, but you got to be close to them. That's the thing. See, I can't. It's. I think at one time, I want to say Spirit of the Mangus at one time gave you 12% damage, dude. You don't use Gem of Isolation on your Cuckoo build? No, I don't. But I'm really contemplating trying it, to tell you the truth, because now that they buffed it, so it you can cast it every 2.5 seconds. I think that would be beneficial. Truth be told, you know what? I'm gonna try it. I didn't use it before for the simple fact that it was, I can't remember, it was like every 12 seconds or 10 seconds. It was a high number before, and I was like, dude, that's not even worth using. But now that they buffed it down to 2.5 seconds, I think it'd be worth using. I'll try it. I'm gonna try this build next time we stream. I mean, the Gem of Isolation is coming a little late in the game. Honestly, I think I can switch that with Divine Ruin, because this build is pretty much designed to aggravate and tank. I just won't have the early game anti-heal. I mean, I could always switch it back if we go against a bunch of heavies that have high healing. What time is it? We got 7 minutes. At 5 minutes, I'll switch over to make sure everything's set up right. Dude, I haven't used Nemesis in so freaking long, dude. I need to try her. I used to be halfway decent at her back in the day. But then again, I haven't played her in 2 or 3 years, so I don't know. I can't remember if I ended up trying this build or not. I'll have to try that too. This time we got. All right, let me start getting ready here. We're about 5 minutes out. There we go. All right. All right. So hopefully you get some good news, dude. I don't anticipate them talking about let me throw on some music just so it's so quiet. I don't anticipate them talking about Smite 2, truth be told. I think that this is all going to be just about Smite 1. So anybody that's hoping to hear about Arena and Smite 2, I don't think this is going to be the venue where we're going to hear anything about it. I think they end up doing something similar to this, but for Smite 2. I think they did one before. I just didn't really do a watch party on it because they always talked about conquests, and it was just like 2 hours of our life we could never get back. Yeah, I don't think they're gonna talk about Smite 2, but it's all good. Make sure my ice is still good. Yes, my ice is still good. Good. What's up, Duel? All right, things should be kicking off in about 4 minutes. 4 minutes. Hey, appreciate you stopping by, brother. Appreciate you stopping by for sure. Yeah, we'll see what they put out today, man. Hopefully we get some good news on some stuff. I really think they're gonna announce some new items. I think we're gonna get a new ring, like I said, and some kind of new dagger or sword. I don't know. We'll see. And then Kali is supposed to be getting some changes too. So that's the only thing I know about thus far. We'll see what happens. They should be kicking off here shortly. Oh, for our next stream too, I got some more. I added 2 more new memes. You guys won't see the codes until I use them though, and then I'll add the codes. They're funny. Actually, I had some extra time this morning, so I was trying to catch up on some stuff I've been wanting to do. Now, also, guys, keep in mind, secret memes, yeah. But also keep in mind that whatever they talk about today is going to go into effect Tuesday, right? So Tuesday is going to be the new battle pass. So if you guys haven't finished up your battle pass, you only got this weekend to finish it out, dude. Because come Tuesday, the old once the update pushes through, the old battle pass is going to be no more, and then we'll be starting the new battle pass. And keep in mind also that since this year, since they moved their stores over to the Nexus stores, I've been steadily getting stuff from Smite, codes for battle passes and skins. So don't forget, I mean, unless you really want to spend your gems, I would hold off on buying any battle pass for about a week or two if you want a chance of winning one, just in case we have some giveaways. And I don't know if I have some codes probably within the first week or two. I always buy mine with gems, so you guys, that's just one extra battle pass I can give to you guys. All right, so they should be starting anytime soon. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Make sure I refresh, because sometimes, dude, Twitch is funny. They'll sneak in on me. See what I tell you? I knew it. Good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, I got to do some more of those little memes, though. I got 2 done this morning, and then I'm going to look to see if I can get some more done. I got a couple ideas on what to do. Gotta add some little comic relief to some of our high CC stressful moments. Damn, the games has just been crazy lately, my dude. Freaking commercials, dude. That's why I hate. Look at that. 1 of 5 commercials, and you can't even skip it. I mean, not that it matters right now because we're still waiting, but this is why I don't like Twitch, dude. That's why I don't stream on Twitch. Commercials are out of hand. You're literally held captive. You can't even skip this crap. And the funny thing about it, the ads revenue for Twitch is garbage. I mean, people get pennies. It's not like YouTube. Not that YouTube gives you big bucks either, but they give you a hell of a lot more than Twitch. All right, it's time. Let's go. I bet you. Go ahead and turn this crap off. Come on. 10,000 freaking ads here. Oh, really? Okay, that should be done now. There we go. See, it was already started. We can see the damn ads.
That's right. It's mid-season time. Feels like just yesterday we were kicking off this year, so it's crazy that we're already at the 6th update of our year 11. But obviously I couldn't do this alone. There's way more than I can comprehend in this brain. So I'm joined by some very talented people you may recognize. I have Ro and Lermy here, and J-Mac as well in the back driving for us.
What's up?
What's up? Y'all
I'm
excited?
so ready.
Yeah.
It's a long one today.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I know y'all been cooking, so I guess we won't waste any time. We'll dive right in. So we're going to kick off the show looking at some fun new cosmetics you can look forward to. Some you may have seen previewed, whether on that wait screen we were just on or maybe across Twitter a little bit more recently. So let's start with the Immortal Honor event. I'm going to say it again. For those of you who don't know, after 6 updates, Immortal Honor event. You're going to get 2 skins every single update. We've been doing it. We're on our, 12th set of skins? That's 2 times 6. I can do math. So they're all cross-gen. They're all going to be available in Smite 2 once these gods release in Smite 2 and are ready to play. So check out the event. Buy it individually, buy it in chapters, buy the whole thing all at once, and just get all the skins throughout the entire year, every single update, your choice. But let's look at what we have to offer in the mid-season update, starting with Lil Bites Sobek, just a little guy.
I love this theme so much.
Right? It's
I
so
love him
good.
so much.
Look at him, he's just a little guy. Look at how happy he is.
Dude, I have been on a plushie purchasing spree, and let me tell you, I would buy that guy instantly if he existed as a plushie.
He would be part of the PPS. Got it. I'm loving. Is that Smite?
Smite Jenga blocks? Yeah, I was just looking at that too. No,
That's
that's
so
really nice.
cute.
When am I getting my Smite branded Jenga? Dude, I want that. Like I'll be the hit of all of the lawn parties. So a beautiful little Sobek.
Oh my goodness.
He's better in game,
He's
actually.
adorable.
Yeah.
He looks so much softer.
His little thing has googly eyes on his little weapon. Look at it. Oh my god, that's so silly.
It looks the way I feel, honestly. Here we go again.
He just like me for real, for real.
Oh, just me.
You know what?
God.
I would use
All right,
it.
well, he is adorable, soft.
I would
and
use it
cute.
just 'cause
Let's
it
see
looks
what he looks
funny.
like in Smite too. Oh, look
Oh.
at our soft little man. He looks so fluffy.
They
Dude, look
really
how
went
it
in on
even
the
looks
like kind of
furry,
woven
dude.
texture
You
too.
can almost see the
all
texture,
the different like
yeah.
textiles that would go into making a plushie like this.
Yeah, and every
Yeah.
stitch as well across all the scenes.
That's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks kind of felt too. Like you
Yeah,
can
it
kind
looks
of tell
like
by
you got that
looking
felt
Yeah.
looking. Yeah.
feel, you know.
I'd say he's very
Dude,
contrasted compared to a
that
lot of the
new
other
engine
plushie
is
skins, which
awesome.
has like more of that like knit style or crochet style of look, where this one just feels
Exactly,
like he's been
yeah.
sewn together. But I really like the look of it. He's
The
just so
details
happy.
are incredible.
He looks a lot less angry and wanting to kill me than most of the alligators.
Well, he still wants to flip ya.
So
Yeah.
that's true. He will still do that. So that is one of the two skins. The next one, slightly less cute, depending on what kind of person you are. We have Dreadstalker Kepri.
Oh, yeah.
What do you mean? This is
Slightly
adorable.
less-
Yeah.
Have you never seen a brain that cute before? Look at all those wrinkles.
No, mine is much smoother than that. I'm very concerned.
The way all the
Aerodynamic,
thoughts can
if
slide right off.
Oh yeah. Mine's like a chicken.
I'd
a
like
chicken
to see
breast.
that
It's
in
just
game.
Completely. Anyway, yeah. So this skin a lot less huggable and adorable. The eye kinda though. At least he's paying attention. Like when you have his full attention.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when he grabs you, you will know you've got his full attention.
That's how it be when I go to the fridge for like water at 2 a.m.
Oh my god,
Oh,
he's
there we
so
go.
creepy.
Like when I see the cheese in the fridge as I'm reaching for a water bottle, like that's my eye every time.
You know, I saw the card art and I was like, oh, that's like,
I still like
Just a
that
little
Tommy
creepy.
gun one better.
Look,
That
just-
Tommy gun one's
yeah,
pretty
it's a
cool.
little bit more creepy. I thought that eyeball
one's kinda
freaking me out,
weird.
dude.
Ever since they started adding
charges at you.
moving eyeballs to Smite skins, like it's been peak horror, honestly.
I love it.
Every time there's an Eldritch Abomination with one constantly moving eye, I'm like, oh yeah, that's
I
nightmare.
made that-
I
It
didn't think
doesn't
it
look
could
bad.
get creepier than Kepri as a gun, but this is creepier.
Maybe we
Capri
could
has
combine these skins.
All right,
I like
well,
Capri. Capri's good.
now
I like
that I'm
him.
vividly shook, how about we check it out in game? 'Cause
Oh,
why not?
yes, of course.
Yes, of course. So,
Just as creepy.
And RoboCop.
Oh,
look
look
at
at
He's
him.
constantly moving around.
oh yeah, you got a lot to see. It's a whole new world out there for him.
Is it safe to have the brain exposed like that? I feel like it's
No, I don't recommend
Revive
having your
himself.
brain exposed to natural lighting and atmosphere.
It
But he's
definitely
just
looks
powerful
different.
enough where it doesn't matter.
It
right?
definitely looks
I see.
kind of
His
frightening.
thoughts can beat any germs, honestly.
Oh, dude,
And
I
any
love the
odor.
little tech effects as well.
True.
Little horror, little sci-fi. Oh, that's
Ooh,
really
nice.
cool.
Watching
I
the
like
brain
that.
wriggle is bothering me.
Kind of got a smaller body as well, so he's very nimble, this brain.
I've never seen a more nimble brain in my life.
Oh, it's
Oh.
a brain up
Oh,
there too.
look at the two
That's
nipples.
awesome.
Cerebral revive.
If you revive through that Kepri, do you like gain IQ points? Is that what happens?
No, he actually takes them away.
Oh.
Fifth or sixth time he revives you, like the price is too
Smarter
much.
every time.
Yeah, that's how the brain got that big.
I see.
Yeah. Well, anyway, this has been comfortable and fun. I've loved this. I don't feel unsettled at all. Welcome to Smite 11.6 update. So cool. Yeah, you can look forward to seeing this from the Immortal Honor event in this and in Smite 2, of which we have a render, which I am also afraid to see. So let's check out
Yeah.
that horrifying Smite. Okay, the
Oh.
brain's hidden a little
That
bit.
looks
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, the
dude.
eyeballs,
That looks
like-
really
Safe
nice.
right now. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't have a word for it other than like glossy.
Glossy.
Yeah.
It's wet.
It looks like an eyeball.
It's a wet eyeball. It's a wet
I
eyeball.
wonder if it blinks.
Dude, I'm telling you, the,
No.
the
Don't say
textures
what.
that they
Look at
can
my
use
eyes.
with the Unreal Engine 5 is just
That's true.
amazing.
Yeah, that's why it's so
Right.
like bloodshot.
Yeah,
You just
good
can't
point.
the
blink.
Maybe it just
graphics
rolls around.
for Arena
Oh,
and Smite
oh,
2
that
is
might
just going to
be
be
worse.
night
Like a
and
pen,
day,
maybe
dude.
like a ballpoint pen. Yeah.
Oh God.
Again, I
Hey guys,
appreciate.
what about the like mechanical stuff, right? We can talk about the stuff other than the
I'm just gonna say, I appreciate that it's being a little, being a little risque. It's like there is a big gross brain back here, but you'll have to see it later. Good for him.
Very modest.
Good for me. Thank you. Very modest.
Yeah,
All right, I
hopefully
wanna
we
die.
get
Let's
some
look
new
at, the
arena
next
maps,
thing. So
right?
this is a Mortal Honor event. You heard me talk about it already. You know what you're looking for. You want to run.
Hopefully it's not
people
the
down
same
with
one
that
as Smite
skin. That's
1.
all I'm gonna say. But just build full attack damage, full crit, Capri, and run people down with that, and it'll be a good time.
That sounds fun.
All right. So next up, something completely different. We have the Demon High Chest, and we're coming in with Honor Roll Amaterasu.
I love this theme so much.
Agreed. Thinking
So
of my boy
cool.
AJ.
I just love the like aesthetic as well. I really think that Amaterasu is a really good pick for it as
Yeah.
well. She just kind of has this like leadership mentality, right? Where she's this like super stoic character, but she gets to have a
Yeah.
little bit of fun. You know, she's still in school. She's breaking out of class to go kill some demons, and what a fun time it is.
I mean, yeah, you're on the honor roll. You're on the honor roll. Wow, that was kind of hard to say.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Thank you. It only took 2 tries.
Oh no, I meant being on the honor roll.
I'm just gonna take it the way I took it because it's less awkward that way for me. But no, if you're on the honor roll, then like you got to put out for your class, you know. So like popping out to kill the demons, like look at them in the
Yeah, put
back.
out
They're
for
like,
your
oh,
class.
that's our honor roll student. So, ooh, that is a good skin.
Yeah,
Cool.
dude, the shield as well,
Yeah.
looking really really neat with the slight like
That
insignia
does look good.
and the gems. I love this style. So cool.
I agree, and you're right. Amaterasu just physical, like the way that she holds herself does kind of exert that like proud.
What's up,
honor
Alex?
Their
thing.
animations. Yeah.
So yeah, like just the way that she carries herself definitely lends itself to the skin. Really
Yeah, the
well.
artist did a really good
So,
job
a
on
very,
the skin.
very cool skin, one that I'm excited to see, and one that, like all the others, I am excited to see in Smite 2 as well, as this is a cross-gen skin.
Ooh, the metals and the like gems, like we were talking about before, they just look so much nicer. They got like a big upgrade going into Smite 2 here.
Yeah, and honestly, for those of you who are able to play Smite 2 in this most recent alpha, like being able to see some of the skins that are in that game as well, and how they handle the light with the effects and everything, like
Yeah, that
it's crazy how
shield
good it
looks
can
really
look in a
nice.
still, and how good it looks, or how much better it looks even when you're actually moving and using it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't
So-
wait to see those effects as well. Those are gonna look awesome.
Oh yeah,
The
that's
glow of her one walking through the jungle, her passive effect walking through the jungle.
Oh,
is really
dude.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. All right. Well, now that we're all excited and saw a bunch of cool stuff, let's do that thing where I talk for a little bit. Welcome to the news section of the show, starting with, I guess, just a thank you. You know, as I just mentioned, Smite 2's Alpha Weekend 2 just finished. That was last weekend. It was a great time. I hope that plenty of y'all were able to get in and play. I know I definitely dove in as often as I could. I was kind of out for the first one, but the second one, I was in there. I was playing as many different gods and roles as I could, getting a feel for it,
Yeah.
and I really did love the experience. And more than
But a
that,
lot of
I
those
loved
little nerds that
the-
live in their
the
mother's
feedback. I
freaking
loved
basement
how,
like
how
that-
communicative everybody was after
that
the
high
fact. So
schoolish
I know
anime look.
I have been on Twitter. 1,000 other people have been on
Those are the
Twitter
ones that
talking
spend their
about
whole
it between
McDonald's paycheck
coworkers
on
or content creators in the space.
OnlyFans.
Just so much good communication about what y'all thought. And obviously, good communication doesn't just mean, yeah, y'all did a great job. There was also a lot of, hey, this was fun, but, or hey, this could be improved a little. And I just, you know, on behalf of everybody here, I do want to say thank y'all, because that is huge. Like, if you filled out the survey, if you were replying to questions from devs or people in the studio, like, we are hoarding that info like dragons. We are sitting on our mountain of hoarded Smite 2 info and
Yeah,
using that to
they've been
prepare
sitting
for
on the
next
answer,
Alpha
is
weekend and
freaking arena
everything
coming
up
out
the
in
road
Alpha
beyond
3 or
that,
not?
to continue trying to improve this experience. So, you know, if you had some
Dude, I've
critical
asked
thoughts
them
and you
so
shared
many
them, please know that
times.
you are heard. We're going to continue adding these things and continue refining the Smite 2 product, the Smite 2 dream, until it is everything we want it to be. So I'll stop rambling, but thank y'all. It was really fun, and looking forward to the next one. To move on from that, I have to read a little more specifically so I don't botch this one. We have some esports news we're going to talk about. First and foremost, shout out to the winner of the first ever Smite 2 tournament. That was really cool. So many teams showed up to do that. So many people hopped in. You can see the team names right there. So for NA, we had Team Cowabunga, which was Yarkor, Aurora, Paul, Panatom, and Solo Troll. And then from EMEA, I always mess that up somehow, we had Sack the Set. Coming in with Duduin, I might say these wrong because I can't read.
Yeah,
I
right.
Silenced, Gunter, Apriel, and Deathwalker. So really, really great games. I tried to drop my iPod. Yeah, we got some brackets we can show y'all too. It's really, really cool to see. I mean, again, look at how many people
I
showed
know,
up
right?
for this.
That's what
Like,
I'm
we were like,
thinking.
hey,
Get to
let's
the
throw
good
this thing
stuff.
together. Let's have fun with it. Let's, you know, see how Smite 2 feels in this alpha stage, in this incredibly early stage, on a competitive cycle. And y'all really showed up to help us figure this out. Like, y'all came, put on some incredible games, gave us a ton of really awesome Smite to watch. So, yeah, just thank all of y'all. It was a really, really cool experience. We're looking forward to more things like this in the future. So last but not least, I want to shout out, well, I guess there's two other things, so not last but not least. Second to last but not least, we have the Content Creator Cup, which is still going. For those of you keeping up, we're working towards it, though. And we're working towards the LAN qualifiers, starting for EMEA. That should be this
Why
weekend,
don't they have
if I'm correct. And then next week, we'll have the LAN
Content Creator
qualifiers
Cup for
NA.
Arena?
So keep
You
an
know what
eye
I'm
out,
saying? Why does
obviously,
Arena
on the
never
Smite
get no
Pro
love,
scene,
dude?
and, enjoy
Some
watching
bull
these
crap.
cups as we work towards these qualifiers. So exciting times approaching us. And speaking of exciting, if y'all missed the announcement, Smite in Vegas. So yeah, we announced this recently. It's going to be the Founders Series live in Las Vegas, January 17th through 19th. You see it all here. Go to smiteesports.com/Vegas for more info. But we are super excited to kick this off and to go have some fun. So more information, obviously, in the future. Keep your eyes out as we roll information out throughout the rest of the year, moving towards January. It is a while away, but we're just really excited to have gotten that news out into the world. So we're over here cooking. We're trying to make things happen. Okay, I've talked a lot. It's time to let some people who know all the hot deets
Right.
talk. And we're talking balance, specifically game mode balance. And we're
Here we
working towards
go.
Conquest now, it seems. So
Yeah.
we're in the Smite 1 realm, talking
Get ready
about
for
little
30 minutes
Conquest
of
change and
Conquest talk.
What's changing? What's happening in the Conquest game?
Yeah, so we've got a brand new upgrade to a fan favorite system from last year. And that system, my friends, is the Spirit Totems and the Shaman Camps.
Okay.
So what are we doing to them? Well, now, I guess let's talk about what they did before. So previously,
Okay.
when you kill these back camp replacements, they would put different totems into your various camps. You could select the totems,
Yeah.
pick different enhancements for your buffs.
Correct.
Now, what you can do with them is, at a certain point, they would despawn. You'd finish going through your cycle and be done. Now, the cycle continues. It repeats, and they get stronger and stronger and stronger each time you kill them.
Right?
Yeah, up to 3 levels of these new totems.
Why did that
so
work?
They'll just be constantly having that shaman camp respawn instead of going that back camp changing back
Interesting.
to back harpies. So you'll still have a back harpy camp at the start of the game, and then after that it'll be constant shaman camps from there, where you just keep every time you kill one, you upgrade your buffs.
Exactly.
Got it. Incentivizing that you continue to get on top of that camp every time that it is up, basically. All right, well, that's really cool. So,
Oh, it's
it seems that there's also,
ICKS.
I guess
That's
you
why.
want to get
It's
into the change of the
apostrophe.
totem effects
I mean,
as well.
exclamation
Yeah,
point
so let's talk about, before we
CKS.
even get into like the
I can
totems
always
themselves,
change
let's
that.
talk about a couple of fun little invade rules.
Okay.
So one of the biggest contention points, I guess, over the system in the past is that it's really fun to be able to pick your buffs, but it's not
Oh, I can't
necessarily
do it.
so intuitive when you invade somebody's camp.
They get theirs, yeah.
They still
guys
get
can do
like the reward from it.
Yeah.
Essentially, you just get the golden experience of their camp. But now it works a little bit differently, where you can actually steal their totem
again,
now.
I am half
and
blind.
in that case, if you were to take one of their totems, they would technically miss that totem in the
Oh,
rotation.
I
And
see
it would continue
RKS.
onward. Like, let's just say
Yeah,
it
I'm gonna
goes
fix that. I don't
red,
like
blue,
that.
yellow. If
Yeah.
you steal their blue, it's going to go to yellow immediately, and then you'd need to wait for the next red before it turns into blue again. So
Okay.
lots
You
of
still-
different
there it
new
goes.
tactics that you can do now that the invading is on the table
There
for
it
these
goes.
camps. So it's
And that's
gonna be
why I
really
have
nice
my-
to be able to see
my
a little bit more
my
macro play. We're
frickin'
hoping to encourage people
touchpad
to
here,
really
'cause
want to play around these
I ain't got time
guys
for
and
that.
defend them on their own side and possibly invade them on the opponent's side.
Junglers especially, yeah, you'll be able to invade the enemy camps and just deny them from getting certain buffs. Like if they have some gods that are particularly good with the blue buff totem and they want the extra CDR, every time that's up, you can see it coming up on the map, you can go and invade that and you can contest it. As well on the receiving side,
Oh,
if
cool.
you're
I
getting
forgot I had that
invaded,
on my
you
thing,
can tell
too.
your team to group up on this because we want this next camp. So it's another contention point
You guys
on
hear
the map
that?
for people to fight over.
Exactly.
We just want to get people into the combat as much as possible and reward them for doing
I
so.
forgot I had that on my.
I like that too. Like you said, that was
my
my first
switchboard.
thought was, oh man, like if this team is really, really powerful with the red buff, like you're gonna really be like, all right, red buff is coming up. First priority, prevent them from getting it.
That's right.
What a cool additional layer for strategy. So awesome. So I guess, like you said, these kind of power up as the match continues to cycle. So how does that power up work?
Yeah, I guess let's start with an example.
didn't
Let's
hear
start with
it?
the Azure Totem.
Okay.
So this is the
Interesting.
cooldown reduction totem. And as you can see here, each time you get it, the first time you get it, you're going to start with the 10%, go up to the
Oh, maybe it's
12.5,
muted.
and then 15
Let me try.
after
Wow.
3 cycles
Yeah.
of the blue.
So, for example, if you got the
You heard
two
that
first blue
time?
ones, you could take the 10%. They wouldn't get their 10% at all, and then you could get upgraded to 12.5 by taking theirs. So you're already at tier 2. They're still at tier 0 or they don't have one yet,
Exactly.
which is really cool. So yeah, this is the same way for each of the totems. So the yellow
Nothing?
one, the golden spirit totem, will be 5 penetration and 5%
Interesting.
penetration. The percent penetration, as you can see in the lower third here, isn't scaling because that would be very, very strong.
be
to
very
have a scale,
strong, yeah.
But the flat penetration does. So 5 through 7 and then 10 for each tier respectively.
And it's important to keep a note as well. By the time you're getting to these tier 3s, it's going to be a little bit later in the game.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
Unless you're stealing them all the time.
yes, if you're stealing them very frequently, then it's going to be really nice because you can upgrade kind of to the tier 2 right away if you get the back-to-back ones, which is really, really fun to be able to kind of push that advantage because you're getting a very significant lead if you're going to be able to get those totems to their next rank way sooner than your opponent.
Yeah, what a crazy thing to think about too, how you can snowball that. So yeah, and it just seems like each of these, like you said, have those 3 levels.
Yep.
So if you're in your own jungle farming your own stuff, it's gonna take a while because that's 12 camps. that's
Yeah, you gotta
12
go through a lot of them.
respawn timers after the first one.
What's up,
Yeah,
Clown?
it's a slow rolling ball, but if you're able to be aggressive, if you push that lead, you start taking their camp. Yeah, that's gonna be
also-
pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it encourages you to be on time for that buff to spawn
Yeah.
as well. If you just leave it sitting up, not only are you risking somebody else coming to invade it and stealing it from you, but if it's just sitting up, it's not being killed, and that's delaying the subsequent spawns as well. So you want to be there as soon as possible, kill it as soon as possible, or invade as soon as possible, and just get them upgraded as soon as possible throughout the game. I said as soon as possible a lot there.
And each of these different levels have visual effects associated
Yes,
with them
you'll be
as
able to tell.
well, where you'll be able
Yep,
to tell,
okay, so that one
you know,
worked.
if you look in your camp and you see all of the totems there, if they have a certain level of effects, you'll see. If you have a level 2, it looks a little bit, more important, more shiny, more special.
So now I
and
can
then
yell
level
at
3,
these
it's
guys
like
and
the
be like,
most special. But yeah, as you can see there from before,
Nobody
the
cares
violet one is
about
attack speed, and here we
conquest.
have the verdant one, which is max health and mana.
12%.
And eventually, that gets to scaling up really, really nicely for the late game. So some of these will scale a little bit better than others. Some of these will be more important to focus on for your early game. But again, we are just really excited to see what kind of macro play comes out of this. And if people really enjoy the system, we'll keep an eye on it and make sure that it's feeling good.
Why my sound effects don't work, though?
Excited to see it, and excited to see the little verdant green mask there.
very
'Cause I
weird.
love
That's my favorite.
ever since the mask came out, I love their design, and yeah,
Yeah.
verdant's definitely is my favorite. So cool. So those all rolled across the bottom of the screen there. If you had missed one or have a question about any of them, make sure to check out the patch notes. Should be live right now, and they have all this info obviously, so you can follow along and see all the numbers we're talking about. But last but not least, one last little change for Conquest. Looks like back harpies just have a change with their debuff.
That's
Yes.
right. Yeah, same area of the map we're talking about. It's the back harpies that then get changed into the shaman camp. So you'll only see this camp once. We're taking away the attack speed debuff just because it's more of an
Yeah,
annoyance.
okay,
It's
Paul, I
blocking
agree
some
1000%,
soul lane
dude.
gods or some gods from being able to play in the soul
1000%.
lane because certain gods.
Because you got to think about it, new
good
people
example
to
is like
this
Osiris,
game,
right? Clears that back camp with no worries at all.
Yeah.
Doesn't
they
even
get
normally
intimidated
to
by
two stacks of that,
Conquest.
attack speed
Conquest
debuff
is
on
too
itself, but
complex.
say a guardian,
And then
like,
they really
Sobek,
don't
if
get
you
to
wanna play
test out
Sobek
the
solo,
gods to see what
you're
god they
sitting there
like.
hitting that forever, and the
Because
attack speed buffs are stacking up
You're
on you.
like
Yeah.
30
The
minutes
good
of
clearing gods
hitting
already
your
didn't
head
have to
against the
worry about
wall,
this. The bad
trying
clearing
to
gods were getting
not
punished
fall asleep,
extra.
and then you
So
get
just
like
removing
5
that
to
attack
10
speed
minutes of
buff, it
fun
should make it
and
easier
actual
for those
excitement and
guardians
actually
or
get to
those
test your
lower
god,
clear
right?
gods to be able to play in
The
that level
Conquest
and
is
clear
too
that camp.
slow.
Yeah, just to stay competitive.
Arenas where
That makes a
new
lot of
players
sense.
actually test
All right,
various
well, that's
different gods to
Conquest.
see which one
Next
they
up,
like
we're talking
and
about Duel.
test various
Now,
different
For those
builds.
of you who have followed the show, you know that Duel has varied
Yeah.
its bans quite a lot this year so far. A lot of back and forth and this and that. But we're doing
That's
it a
why I
little
really don't
differently
like
this time.
Conquest.
What's
It's
going on
just
with the
too
bans here,
slow
Larry?
for me,
Yes.
dude.
So
It's too
finally,
slow.
after what feels like a several month-long experiment, we had a really good time with our ban system. But coming up in this patch, we are removing the ban system and going to everybody is back
Unleashed.
in
It's a
Duel.
free-for-all.
Unleashed, if you will. But essentially, we were really happy to see the experimentation coming out from incorporating a ban list
Yeah.
into this mode. But I
And
think
that's the thing,
overall, we haven't seen any
Conquest,
data
a lot
kind
of
of
people,
showing that
they
it has
forget that
impacted
there's
the
new
mode
players,
positively or
and they
negatively. It's
expect
kind of
you
just
to
stayed
instantly
the
know
same. So
everything,
in
right?
general, our
Instantly know how to
methodology
give the
here is
commands
that
and
we
where to
want
be
encourage
and
players
what your
to
role
feel
is and
a
what
little bit more
camp
free
to
to try things and do
prioritize.
things, especially
It's
as
stupid.
we continue to do these exciting changes.
People weren't so damn
some of the gods
toxic,
that
it
are
might
getting
be
changed in
funner.
patches just aren't allowed in Duel.
Yeah.
So they don't get to have the fun time with their brand new changes, and that has been really sad. Also, it's going to be very interesting to see with some
one
more
day when
upcoming
Smite
stuff
2
that we're
pops
going to be
off,
talking
one day
about
we'll do
soon,
a Reaper
if,
field
the
day,
meta
and
changes
maybe
a
we'll
lot.
do some
So
5v5.
ideally
We can do
want
some
to
5v5
give the Duel
Conquest if you guys
players
want to try
as
it
much
out.
freedom as possible,
That way it's
especially
just
with
a
the
fun
upcoming
overall
changing
game, you know what I'm
systems
saying?
that
People
we'll talk
just
about very soon.
Reaper versus
Right, yeah,
Reaper,
the
we'll
mid-season
just
updates
enjoy
will
the
have a lot
game.
of changes.
We
That
can
means
try
a
it if
lot
y'all
of
want
gods get
to.
changed. We just want to allow players to
But
be able to play their gods. If
other
there's a
than
high
that,
demand for the ban system to come
I don't
back
like
in some
playing
shape or
Conquest in
form,
the
we can certainly
wild.
do that.
Exactly.
Although I will
But for
try
now,
at least
we're unleashed.
once when Smite 2
You are
pops off.
unleashed. So for those of you whose ban or who's been affected by the ban list and your favorite's been locked behind that wall, go nuts. So we're moving away from game modes now into the world of items. And let me tell
Here
you,
we go,
there are
babies.
a lot
Here
of
we go.
items. If I had to choose a spot, they were chefing. It was items this time around. So one of my favorite things, obviously, is I look at all of the notes and I format the patch notes, so I get to see a lot of this beforehand. And we're going to talk about a lot of items here, but under the word item balance, there is just one item. And I thought that was really funny. It's not item balance plural, it's item singular balance. So before we move into the funky stuff, the crazy stuff, how about we talk about item singular balance with Eye of the Jungle?
Yeah, the Eye of the Jungle is the one item that we're going to be balancing in the entirety of the
The
mid-season patch.
one
guys.
item that
This
means
is the only one.
absolutely, positively
so
nothing
essentially,
to us.
we'll get into why this is the only one in just a couple of seconds here, but let's
there's a
talk
lot.
about Eye of the Jungle first. So ever since we did the
I
little
swear
switch up
they-
to
they're-
remove
they're
attack
doing
speed
this on
from Eye of the
purpose just to
Jungle, put
screw
it on
with me.
mannequins, Eye has fallen pretty clearly behind in terms of its popularity. It doesn't really have a super unique home at this point. It doesn't do sustain better than Bumbos. It doesn't do damage or protections better really in any way. So what we wanted to do here is give it a very new, unique effect that still plays around this in the jungle mechanic. So now while you're in the jungle, you will be able to rotate a little bit faster between your camps, between your ganks, whatever you
Yeah,
want to
League
do.
of Legends.
Now you
I
get 3% movement
played
speed.
League of Legends
Right,
on
yeah, we
and
hope
off
this is a
when
fun one, just something different
Nightwing
in the
was
jungle, get
playing
some
it for
that's one
esports.
level worth of movement speed
So I used to
out of
help
the
her
game. So if
train,
you're-
but other
if you're
than
level
that,
3 and the
I
enemy
just
jungle
didn't
is
like all the
level
damn
2, you're
clicking. There was
moving
too much
3%
clicking
faster
for
than
me,
they are.
man.
Just by having this item,
I
you'll
really
be
didn't
an extra
enjoy
3%
League of
faster
Legends.
as well. So you can
In the
actually
jungle.
have in the jungle. Yeah. So if you're chasing someone through the jungle, you'll have a fairly big advantage when it comes to either running away or chasing after them. Yeah.
Yeah, and super handy. It's one of those things that you're like, oh, 3%, what does that mean? But you really feel
But
it
it's
when
super
you're,
popular, though.
Yeah, when
Super,
you're
super
going to
popular.
help cover a lane, going to employ a gank, returning from a gank to go back to farming. There's just a lot of utility in that. So cool. That was item balance singular. Now let's get to the lot of stuff. So we're,
All right.
I guess we're just gonna dive right into it. Y'all might have seen this on Tier Tuesday. But we're talking Tier 2s today, and we've got a lot of them. So how about y'all guide us into this? What brought about the changing of the Tier 2s?
Yeah, so we were brainstorming what our big beat could be for this patch, and we were going through the ages of Smite Pass and saying, what are things that people have previously liked? What are builds that we haven't been able to explore lately? What's kind of the limitations that are on our item system right now, and how can we, kind of break that a little bit in some ways? Not like in an OP sense, but kind of just in ways that we can make it new and fresh and fun. So one of the things that we felt that we had previously utilized a lot that aren't really as utilized anymore, maybe like 2 or 3 items, are Tier 2 items. They are a very interesting spot in terms of power spikes, in terms of when you get them, why you buy them, etc. And we just wanted to make that more fun.
buy 'em
So
'cause we need
essentially,
to get
our
to
goal
Tier
is to
3.
kind of adjust the importance of your
I mean-
power spikes when you're getting them, how you're getting them, and then differentiating the build pass that you can go into, and having fun little mini games to play
That's
as
right,
well
yeah.
for all of your Tier 2s. So we're adding new Tier 2 items, passes to existing Tier 2 items, and a lot of balance to them across the board. So that's essentially the TLDR, but let's get into the specifics, shall
All
we?
right, yeah. Well, TLDR over, specifics it is, and we're starting off in the physical branch of Tier 2 items. So, I guess there's nothing to do but dive right in. So first up in the physical tier, we have Bound Gauntlet.
Yeah, so you'll kind of see that as we go through, there are going to be kind of 2 areas of Tier 2 items, where some Tier 2 items are going to have really cool, unique new things that are going to be, kind of the center of attention. Like, these guys are going to be really cool and new and fun.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, I
there's
don't know
ones
what
that
they're
are kind of
talking
more
about mini games
inline,
either.
kind of
Hopefully
along
they
that
go into
starter
more
item kind
detail.
of pathway, where we want to kind of keep in mind that we don't want things to be too extreme, but we want that power curve to be a
This
little
is
bit smoothed out
interesting.
between
You're going
items.
to get
And Bound
4%
Gauntlet is a
healing
great example
from
of
your
one of those items
abilities.
where its passive is
at
very
Tier 2.
similar to its upgrade Soul Eater. And I think we can go into game as well to see a couple of
look through
those
these items.
changes
Great idea.
in the trees themselves. So as you'll see here, trees looking a little bit different.
Just a smidge.
Just a little bit different. So we're talking about Bound Gauntlet here. So this item in particular is now gaining an extra bit of ability healing.
That's right. Yeah, it's a very mini version.
So
of what it
now
builds
the
into.
question is, if
but
you
could,
use
this is 1250,
duality
you can
before
easily
you
start
get
in any of
this,
your game
does
modes as
that
well. So it
proc
makes you
off
think about that as
duality?
well. We'll probably mention
We're
that
gonna
a
have to
lot when we
test
go
that
through
out.
all of these items, but yeah, this is a pretty
Because if
simple
that's
one.
the
It is a
case,
price
that's
increase
going to be
because
pretty
it's a fairly big
strong
buff.
early
Being
game.
able to buy this and instantly get healing from your abilities rather than having to wait until you get the Tier 3 and then the stacks on the Tier 3 just makes the curve a lot smoother, and you can make your choices that way.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, and I feel like that's gonna be very thematic of this update. Is like this changes the way that you can approach building these tier 3 items by getting the passives you want ahead of time. So
And some of them you could hold on to the tier 2 for a little while because maybe you just wanted a little bit of that, not the whole tier 3's worth. So you can hold on to it until you want more of the ability lifesteal later, and you could move on to a different tier 2 and a different one if you wanted to. Or
I'm gonna have to test it out, see if that works with
you'll have a lot
duality.
more to think
I mean,
about
not that I
with
really
this
use Soul Eater,
Ideally, the
but
tier 2s
just
are
to
not
see if
going
it
to be
works.
stronger than the tier 3s themselves, but they are going to be nice holdovers or nice little things to have in the kind of middle of building these items. So, you know, ideally, they're still feeling like tier 2s, but they're feeling like enhanced tier 2s. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's. I guess staying with the Gauntlet theme, we have Cursed Gauntlet as well.
Yeah, so one big change that you'll be seeing here just from the visual of the tree is that
9%
Cursed Gauntlet now builds into
lifesteal.
Crimson Claws in addition to Devos and Bloodforge, so that's a new addition to that side of the tree. On top of that, the cost is going down by 100 gold from 1,400 to 1,300, and the lifesteal is going up. So a little bit more advantage in terms of stats and cost efficiency
that could be
there
pretty
for
good
Cursed
for
Gauntlet,
Loki.
but not too much else
Have
is
you used,
changing there for that guy. But one more thing we
Bloodforge
have to talk about
in
in this
your
tree
Loki
is
build?
Bloodforge.
I'm in the tree.
And this item is just a little bit underpurchased right
Yeah,
now, a
it
little bit
is.
hard to buy into. It kind of fights a little bit with Devos, where Devos has the pen, but this has the nice shield and extra power if you want to go for that more expensive price spot. So we're bringing it down just a bit, giving more ability to go into this item should you choose to.
Yeah, from 2,600 down to 2,500. So just a
Wasn't
little more
this like
viable
almost
than it was
3,000
before.
at
And it's a
one
really fun
time?
item as
28,
well, so we wanna see
2,900,
more
something
people
like
buying
that?
it. We'll keep an eye out. Obviously, with
That's
all of
pretty
these
good.
changes, there'll be a lot of cost changes. We'll keep an eye on things, see how it shakes up the meta, and see what people are building. You know, Bloodforge generally kind of an assassin item, but we've seen it on hunters too as well. A really fun one that can get you snowballing. So we want people purchasing it rather than just Devos or even the occasional Crimson Claw sometimes.
Yeah.
But as well, there might be more people buying Soul Eater now that has the upgraded tier 2. So in general, this whole
You know
tree
the
gets
items
some
very well.
changes.
Yeah, it gets to be shaken up
Yeah.
a little bit.
Yep.
Well, to jump trees, we're going to talk about bows now.
What's up,
and it looks like
Batman?
short bow is next up on the list for changes.
Yeah, this one's a
cheap.
fun one.
Yep.
Yeah,
Seeger's
surprise
bow is
at
cheaper,
that price
ain't it?
there. We're going from 650
It wasn't-
to
it wasn't
550 on the
2,100
tier 1,
before, it
and
was
you'll kind of see why
2,300, right?
later.
Or
But this is
22?
exceedingly
Odysseus
cheap
bow.
for a number of reasons. So kind of the whole reason we kind of ended up here was charged bow was kind of the talking point when it came to the adjustments that we wanted to make for this tree. Is charged bow is a really interesting item because it does kind of do the like golden shard equivalent of like helps you clear the lane. Not too crazy for poke, but it is
I wanna
something
say
that can help a low
Odysseus'
clear
bow
physical,
might be
attack
cheaper.
speed oriented god.
I could have
And
swore
we
it
were
was
like, that's
22 or
really cool.
23.
Let's kind of lean into this a little bit
22,
more. So
right?
what we've done here is we've taken the cost down quite a bit, but also we're taking the power level of the proc down quite a lot on charged bow itself. Odysseus bow still the same that it was before. That has not changed. But charged bow specifically has taken a power hit and a cost hit. So if you want to get this early, get a little bit of extra clear in the jungle,
1,000 gold.
ADC, solo, any of those roles in particular, you could opt for this item, help you on some of those lower clearing gods.
Yeah, what we saw a lot was, especially when we moved, not Golden Bow, what was it called?
Golden Blade?
That
Golden
one.
Blade.
We removed that one, but we have the shard that you can use instead.
Yeah.
The shard didn't quite make up for Golden Blade, but a lot of people were buying tier 2 charge bow plus Golden Shard. That together will make up for it. So we're bringing that
Dude,
price
they better
down
not
so you can
nerf
get
the
shard for
full
free on each
Odysseus
week.
bow,
And then
though.
charge bow for just 1,000 gold, and then boom, you got your AoE clear for the jungle. So we saw a lot of Kali's, a lot of Nemesises.
I think I use that almost all my 100
Bakasura,
builds.
and even some like Mercuries if you wanted to do these crazy.
Just
later
for the
as we were
minion
seeing some,
clear of
like
anything.
Arachnes do it and
Yeah,
things like
yeah,
that.
Arachne was a big one as well. So now it just becomes that little bit more accessible, but the power came down with it as well. So
Yes.
the balance makes sense. It's just enough to be able to clear those side camps. That's what you wanted it for, alongside the Golden Shard, like I said, and then you can upgrade it to Odysseus Bow either at the start of the game or way later. You can just hold on to that tier
whenever
2 for
you
that
need it.
clear. Yep.
Awesome. Well, yeah, cool. Again, shifting the gold economy around to change the ability to access these items. Really fun to see. And we're still in the bow tree though. We're talking about Hunter's Bow next.
Yeah, so this is, I guess we can start with Hunter's Bow here. We'll talk about what changed about Hunter's Bow, then we'll talk about why it
Yeah,
changed,
why it
because
changed.
it goes into a
Moving
little
up the
bit of
tree,
a more holistic approach. But Hunter's Bow here is getting an increased cost by 50, so not all that much, but it is gaining
Just a little.
a little bit of penetration, just 5 flat physical penetration. So you're probably going, Lermy, why are you putting flat pen on this tier 2? Well, I'll tell you, it's Stormseeker, that's why.
That's why.
So this is kind of an interesting shift here to Stormseeker. The price is going up quite significantly, about 200 gold, but it's also getting a power increase, and it's adding 10 physical penetration as well. So we had a lot of discussions around this item. It definitely was performing a lot better
Where they
after the
can't
last buff. But we
one-shot
felt
people?
like one of the biggest core things
I
that
don't
we
know.
missed on our initial push of Stormseeker into
Early
the
game,
game
there's
is that
really not
these early
too
game
much in the
bridge
way of
items
one-shotting
do not
people.
feel good
If
keeping
anything
them
is
forever
this
throughout
heavy
the game,
CC
even
what
if they
kills you,
scale
not
up to
heavy
a million
damage.
billion attack speed. We definitely understood that if the stats aren't hitting, it's not going to be a very popular item.
Now,
so we wanted
late
to say,
game,
okay,
when you get all
can
the
still buy
attack,
this very early. You can still get this on
power
like way faster
built
than
up
goes.
and the pin built up.
But
Yeah,
now
then
it
you can
has stats that are
definitely
a
get
little bit
2 or
more
3
applicable
shotted.
going into that late game. So it's not quite
Or
a
one shot with the
100%
magic
tip in the
abilities.
buff direction because, again, a little bit more expensive, still very cheap, but you're getting a much, much better stat.
Yeah, you said it perfectly.
Said it perfectly. You heard it here. So we're moving now away from the bows a little bit, and we're heading towards Piercing Star up next.
Oh, Piercing Star is our first brand new tier 2 that we're going to be looking at here. This is in the Morningstar tree. So yeah, you'll see here. Ooh, we got 3 tier 2s up in this tree. So Piercing Star builds into exclusively Heartseeker, no other item.
Yeah.
And this passive is that every 5 seconds, your next ability will deal 2% of the target to maximum health as physical damage. And as you can see here, this is one expensive tier 2. This might be the most expensive tier 2
Yeah.
I think it might be now.
in the
yeah.
game.
Going into Heartseeker.
Yeah, Heartseeker a very expensive item on its own, so it made sense to kind of hit that middle point. And speaking of middle point, it is kind of just a mini version of Heartseeker.
I mean-
right? So it's a very simple passive, the same gameplay loop as Heartseeker, but you get it online sooner.
You know what I'm saying?
You can
It's
stick
like-
with it for a while if you want to, if you don't want to go for the full upgrade of Heartseeker. But obviously, when you get that 2750 for that Heartseeker, you get your percentage.
wouldn't use
and
that
this
early
just
game
smooths
anyway.
that curve out rather than what it was before, which was I think 600, 1200, all the way up to 2750. So
Yeah.
now you kind of get
Tuesday, the
middle
new battle
point, and
pass
it's a
goes into
lot more
effect. You got
smooth, yeah.
this
A lot more
weekend
in the
up until
middle, a lot
Monday.
less kind of
Monday's
like
the
2
cutoff.
steps and
Tuesday,
then-
when they bring in the new
Well,
update,
cool. I hope y'all enjoy
it'll
the
be in the new
Morningstar
battle
tree, 'cause
pass.
now we're
So
going
you
to
only
a
got
different
this
tree.
weekend
We're
to finish
heading
your
over
battle
to
pass.
Short Swords tree.
Yep, Short Sword. This is over in the crit tree, and we'll get to that other side later here. But let's talk about Short Sword. This was actually a really unique opportunity for us because this item's
When you critically
passive
sh-
only
critically strike
happens
an enemy,
when you have
gain
critical
a
strike
stack of
already.
5
And this
power.
item itself does not have critical strike. So this is a
Interesting.
passive that will only start to come into effect if you have any other critical item, critical effect, etc. So like your Jingweis, your
Did
Surkets
they
that already
just
get crit
increase
for free,
the cost
they
of
could use this,
frickin',
but you are going to need another critical strike item
Deathbringer?
otherwise. But essentially what this does is when you get a critical strike, you get some power. And that does feel very nice. It's not a whole
Wasn't
lot of
Deathbringer
power. It's still going to be
2600?
less than your Rage and your Deathbringer. But, you know, once you are building into that crit and you're
Yeah, I
starting
know
to
it
go
wasn't
into these more like
2900.
crit
I know that for sure.
amplifying, multiplying effects kind of ideas
I mean, I
when
haven't
you
been
go
using
into
it
like
in a while,
Deathbringer,
so it's like whatever.
it'll feel really, really nice.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Straightforward and to the very sharp-looking point.
Yeah, so, good one. Something to highlight on that one as well is there's no internal cooldown. So as fast
It's
as you can crit, you
definitely
can
at
stack
least
that
300
power up
gold
immediately.
more
There is
expensive, I think,
a
though.
maximum stacks of 3, but if you can crit 3 times very quickly, immediately you're getting 15 more power from that item for relatively cheap.
Well, the reason I know it's
Just
not
their auto attack
2900
hit all
because the
3 times.
glyph I think made it
Yeah.
33,000,
Boom.
right?
All right, so speaking of points, there's 8 of them on that adjacent item there.
Yeah.
So let's talk about 8-pointed
The
shuriken.
Shuriken is back.
Ha!
It is so back.
200,
and
yeah.
here's its passive.
So I
Let's
knew it
talk
wasn't
about
that much more.
This
Usually
passive
the
is that
glyph
when
is like
an
another extra,
damaging an
what,
enemy god with a basic
800
attack,
more?
you gain 3% attack speed for 10 seconds, max of 5 stacks. So you might go, okay, well this looks kind of similar to other items that we've had in the past, but the difference is that you get a relatively low amount of attack speed that lasts for a long time, but you got to make sure that you're stacking this and
600, yeah.
maintaining those stacks.
Right.
So if you're building this kind of in the mid game, as you would expect one
Yeah,
to go
that would
crit,
make sense.
you know,
There
you
was
want to make sure that you're
2600
still being
before.
active in boxing with the enemy hunter to make sure that you're maintaining those
Somewhere in
stacks
the
over the
ballpark,
long
I guess.
duration. And it's just a nice little bump, especially because
Yeah.
you get attack speed going into Demon Blade or Bladed Boomerang. Both of those guys offer it, and you're not getting that from the actual base stats. You have to earn them.
Yeah, this one's a fun little mini game. You know, just kind of want to hit the hunter as much as you can, get those 5 stacks, and then every 10 seconds or within those 10 seconds, just want to hit him once more just to maintain those stacks so you maintain that attack speed.
Yeah.
And speaking of attack speed, I guess you'll notice this for all of the tier 2 items we're talking about. They're very thematic to what they build in. So yes, there is attack speed in those tier 3s that it builds into. Same with all the other tier 2s. So if it builds off crit like Short Sword does, and you get stacks from crit, that's because we're building into a crit tree. So it's very thematic of what it builds into.
Yeah, so not just fun to mix up that middle tree and change your buy
right,
options,
yeah.
but like you said, it's thematic. So
Exactly, yep.
well placed. So from there, we moved 1,000-fold blade, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is our katana tree, and as you can see here, this 1,000-fold blade built into Shadow Drinker, Equinox, and Hasten Katana.
Yeah.
The passive on this one's pretty fun as well, where you gain 5% movement speed for 10 seconds on killing or assisting an enemy god, and this stacks up to 3 times.
Yeah.
So you get 3 kills, you get 15% movement speed. Well, kills or assists, I should say, but
Yeah.
you know, pretty unlikely to happen, but that'll feel really good when you do.
Yeah, in arena and things like that, that's the really fun one. Other game modes, Conquest, it's a little less likely. It does allow you to snowball or get out after you get a kill, but in arena, you're just going to kind of be zooming around all the time, assault and things like that. When kills are happening around you, this item is really good.
Yep.
I can see the perfect. You got Eye of the Jungle. You have this.
Yeah.
You get
Oh,
into
yeah.
a team fight in mid, and they're like, all right, let's go to Phoenix, and you're already there. You know,
You are zipping and zooming.
Yeah, that'd be like what 18% movement speed bonus. Like
A lot,
as
yeah.
long as
Yeah,
you
hey,
cut
they
to the
mentioned
jungle, you're
arena.
flying. So,
Right?
like, go to the Phoenix. I've been at the Phoenix.
I'm surprised they even know what that
All right,
what
cool.
mode
So,
really
Shadow
was.
Drinker up next.
Yeah, so Shadow Drinker is kind of along those same lines that we talked about for Stormseeker earlier, where it was very, very cheap, but just not really providing the oomph that you would want out of a tier 3 item. So what we're doing here is we're bumping the cost up by a smidge, 50 gold, 1 less pot in your inventory, 1 less ward, whatever it might be, but you're getting 10 more power.
10 whole power.
So
Yep.
that is a very significant stat stake now at 45.
Yeah.
So it's going to feel very nice, and of course you get that extra bonus passive of the stealth and movement speed as well. And that movement speed does not go away when you get on stealth. So the stealth movement speed not connected, still going to feel like a very nice bump in that direction in terms of overall effectiveness of that item.
Nice. I'm all for it. I love a little bit of stealth anyway. So next, this is new next to it. We have Swift Edge.
Yeah, this is a brand new tier 2 katana.
And new tier 2. Looks good. I love new art.
Yeah.
This built into specifically serrated edge, and this one has a fun passive as well, where damaging an enemy god with an ability grants 3% movement speed toward them for 3 seconds, stacks up to 3 times. So you got 3 abilities, you hit them with 3 abilities, you get 9% movement speed specifically towards them. You gotta keep fighting them.
That's aggressive.
Otherwise, you're not getting the movement speed. Think of it kind of like Gilgamesh 3, where you gotta walk towards
Thanatos
his beacon.
passive,
Yeah,
yep.
Thanatos passive. All in that same vein. It works exactly the same. As long as you're hitting them with abilities, you'll get this movement speed buff, and you'll be able to stack it up and keep it
I
up.
guess
But
Fenrir
again,
can
not a very long one, so
benefit
gotta
from
be
that.
back-to-back-to-back abilities,
guess.
or you're gonna be losing this movement speed.
Hit him with the quick ones, and I just like that it's aggressive movement speed though. Like we've seen some like
Yeah, it's my favorite type.
jungle movement speed. We've seen some like general out of combat movement speed. This is like, I'm gonna get you movement speed.
That's right, yeah.
So,
You just choose your target and just run straight
yeah,
at them. Hold
run
W. Yeah.
directly at them. Holding W is like a specialty of mine. So I'm all for it. So from Swift Edge, we moved to Balanced Blade.
Yes, Balance Blade. This builds off of Light Blade, and now it only builds into Aussie and Executioner. So what does Balance Blade do now? Well, it's got a passive that on damaging an enemy god with a basic attack, gain 2 physical penetration for 5 seconds. This stacks up to 3 times. So a much shorter loop, but a much stronger loop as
Yes,
well, because
yeah.
penetration is just generally way more important, especially in this like kind of transition phase where, you know, Aussie and Executioner are usually like your 2-3 item
That's right.
slot. You know, usually you get lifesteal first, and afterward you might want to build into something else. And speaking of lifesteal, in this tree, you might even say,
Whoa.
Penetration on this tier 2 for some reason, Lomi.
yeah, there is penetration on this. So you might be saying, well, there's no pen on Aussie. Well, now there is.
It's back.
It is so
That's what I was
back.
wondering,
Let's talk
too.
about that a little bit here. So this is a bit of a trade, of course. Aussie's still a little bit more expensive than your average, you know, item, but it's still kind of on that same
That's
pace
nice.
as you would be going
That's
for Devos or
40
something like that.
physical
so it's getting
power,
a little bit less power here,
18%
taking
physical
from 45 down to
life
40,
steal.
but you're trading
10
for 10
flat pen,
physical
penetration,
pen,
20
which is going to
attacks.
be
Yeah.
really, really nice as well. So
And below 60
hopefully this
health,
item
you
sees a
get-
little bit more action. I think that
Yeah.
it's certainly
I might have to
favorite
try
of
that on
casuals,
a
but
couple
now
of my
might be a little
hunters.
bit more competitive as well alongside Devos.
Yes, yeah, definitely. It was a very, very popular item back when it had penetration on it before, so I can only imagine the same will happen this
That's-
time around.
Yep.
Yeah, we're coming
Not
back. We
bad.
are so back. So moving from
Very
Assy, we
nice.
have the Keen Blade up
Yeah.
next.
Yes, another brand new tier 2
Another
item
brand-
coming on back. This builds into Chins and Duality. And this is going to be another very expensive tier 2 item, tied up here with Piercing Star. But Keen Blade is going to have a new passive as well that does your basic attacks deal an additional 10% of your basic attack power as physical damage. And that's quite a bit of extra damage. So think of it
So
like
here's
a
my
mini
question,
Chin
right?
Sai or a mini Duality proc, but based
If
off
you
of your
get
basic attack
duality,
damage.
you already
You know, the
get a
stats
similar
for tier
passive,
2,
right?
they're pretty okay.
Yeah.
But
the
this is on the
passive really
same
what's gonna make this
tree.
item shine.
That's right. The
As
passive is what
size.
makes it worth it because it is, again, we said for
So
for
can you get
piercing, Star
duality
was one of the
plus
most expensive tier 2s. This is actually the same
this
price
new
point. So
item
just
at tier
generally,
2?
duality, kin size,
get-
Heartseeker, those are your kind of luxury late game big damage
should be
items.
able
So the
to.
tier 2s are priced accordingly.
Well, I
for
guess if
those.
you're getting size, I guess
Makes
it
sense.
really
Don't wanna
doesn't
fly
matter,
too
right?
quickly to all that punchy extra damage because
Mm-hmm.
things would get crazy. So we're moving forward next to an
That's
item
very
that I
interesting.
can
I'm gonna have to look
assume
at
I know
that,
how to
dude.
say, and we'll say
I'll have to look
confidently,
at that.
shillelagh.
That's correct.
Hey.
Shillelagh. Oh man, this is a fan favorite coming on back. And
Yeah.
check out the
Yeah,
price
you
by
should
the
be able
way.
to get both.
It is very cheap here at
It is.
1100. And the fun thing about this price is that
Health
you
and
could even
physical
start this
power.
if you wanted to in something like solo,
Oh, you're
or
at
it might even be more
25% of
applicable
your
in modes
max
like
mana
assault
you
or
can-
joust
yeah.
or duel.
That's right.
Anything like that where you kind of want this early game mana boon because it does have some, it has okay stats for a tier 2, but the passive is what's really cool where
Yeah.
it kind of has that similar vibe to Blackthorn where when you get under 25% of your max mana you gain MP5, but
When
you
I use
don't
duality, I
get that other
usually
benefit
use
of the
Quinn
cooldown
size
above
in addition to it too.
25%
So
of
it's
your
like
max mana. So you're just getting the sustain, no extra cooldown, just a little bit of power health and that extra mana when you drop under.
Yeah, a start I'm interested in trying in Soul Lane is maybe start this. You get your health chalice.
The only reason I
you can
use
save the
duality
extra
is to
gold or
proc
just buy
the
2 more potions.
brooch.
Then you only have to be in lane for another
Usually.
1100 gold before you can get the full Black
Early
Thorns.
game.
Or you can back early, get a starter right on top of that.
I usually
This
build
is a really,
size
really strong
late
tier 2 for
game
the early game
'cause it
just
just
because the
makes
sheer amount
sense.
of mana sustain that it has. And the other stats you want as well, just physical power and health, like perfect for your warriors or your solo lane assassins. So I'm really interested to see how people play around this one and some other ones we have coming up.
Yeah, this is definitely mana sustain is always a huge thing. Like if there's a lot of things I can be low on health and still boxing, I'm fine. But when I run out of mana,
Dude,
then
I'm
I
very
stress.
surprised
So
that they're
having an
making
item
this
like
many
this to resort to,
changes
especially
to
at the early
the
game when
Smite
mana
1
sustain can be an issue if you're just lobbing abilities.
Yeah.
with
I love
only
it.
6
So I'm
months
all
to
for
go.
So
and
heavy
its-
hammer
and
up
its
next in the hammer
lifespan.
tree.
Well. Heavy hammer.
Yeah, I mean, there's
We
probably
may have
like
seen
6
this
more months
once
before
upon a
Smite
time.
2 kicks
Yeah.
off.
A little bit familiar passive from days past. But this
So that's
passive
cool. At least they're
that
not
only builds
abandoning
into
it yet,
Frostbite
right?
Hammer. And again, I will
guess
remind
that's a
folks
good
that this
thing.
is only buildable on melee characters. Cannot buy this on ranged. This passive is that each time you basic attack an enemy god, remember that, gain a stack. When you have 4 stacks, your next basic attack damage slows the enemy god hit by 15% for 2 seconds, and then additional slows applied from this item refresh the duration, they don't add to it.
That's right.
And then on top of that, we're increasing the cost from 1350 to 1400. So yeah, this is going to be a nice little transitionary item
Yeah.
for those folks that want to build into Frostbound, but kind of want the effect a little bit sooner. You do have to fight people a lot to get this going.
Yeah, you have to get the auto attacks to
mean,
get the slow. It
I
isn't
remember
just a
back in the
slow
day
one
when
first
that
auto
used to
attack
be
and then
an
keep
item that
auto-attacking
you
them.
would use on
You have
Artemis.
to already be able to chase them at
You
least
would get
just a little
that
bit,
on
maybe with a dash or
Artemis, and then
two,
you would get
then you
that
your
other
slow and you can
hammer
keep
that
up with
used
them
to
again.
do
So this
damage
is kind of a mini version,
for
but as
anybody
well
that's
has its own
CC.
like kind of gameplay.
You get like 15%
for
more
sure.
damage,
And
I think
really
it
good
was.
too for if you're laning against somebody that you're fighting, you're winning these, you're boxing, you're winning these fights, but they just keep slipping away. Like
Yeah.
maybe this is the key to like help
This
you
is-
lock in the kill.
That's right. You can auto attack someone once or twice, and then maybe by that point you're gonna have to dash after them. Let's say your nemesis or something. You dash after them, you get another auto attack, and you dash after them again. You get another auto attack, and they start gapping you again, but they can't because your next auto attack actually slows them when your dash is down. So you're getting those few extra hits after you've already committed to them. So this is an item that really the slow will only come into play once you've committed to hitting the god. So it's interesting to be able to see. Well, it will be interesting to be able to see how people play around this. It might be build them in the soul lane as well, not just the jungle. So just not on hunters. That's the main one.
Yeah, just not physical like melee attacks.
Melee.
specifically.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So last but not least in the physical tree, we have the.
Oh, so they
Smithy's
made it
hammer.
on melee only.
Yeah, so this is a good example of a new item that doesn't have a passive. Not every tier 2 item is going to be getting a passive in this patch. This is essentially just going to be more of a stat stick. So you'll see that, these items that don't have passives will either be cheaper, have better stats, something along those lines. But Smithy's Hammer in particular is going to be building into Runeforged and also Dawnbringer. And pretty solid stats, pretty solid price.
Yeah. You
Passive,
could even
very
start with
simple.
it, like we said. There's going to be a lot of items kind of like this, where you've got HP 5, power, and health. Like, kind of what else do you want in the early game? You've got an extra 300 gold to buy a chalice or some potions. You can get creative with your early game builds. Maybe you want to choose your starter later in the game, then you can do that with items like this.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, that does it for the physical section of our tier 2 items. But we have 2 sections yet remaining. And next up, whoa, is that Kepri? I love
Hey, he's back.
Looks
back, the
much
boy.
better without his brain
I was about to say,
exposed.
he looks much more adorable.
He's cuter, but I kind of miss the intimidation factor.
Okay. That's all I got for you there. All right, so let's move into magical items. So I guess we'll just kick it off with some talons. We have the talon.
Yeah, Talon Trinket. So this guy builds into Bancroft's and Typhon's Fang, and so Talon Trinket, unsurprisingly, does some stuff with Lifesteal.
Whoa.
This passive is that each second you are in God combat, gain 1 magical power and 1% lifesteal for 5 seconds, up to a max of 20 stacks.
a lot.
So you spend 20 seconds in combat with another God, you are getting an absolute boatload of lifesteal and power. But again, that is a long, long time for especially squishier characters buying this to be in combat. But it's a very interesting loop where if you really do want to encourage yourself to be in these fights for a long time, you will get a very
How the
big
hell do
reward.
they know if you're in God
so
combat?
you can kind of like, you don't have to go all the way in to just stay in
The
combat for
second you
20
are
seconds.
in
You can kind
God
of just
combat.
the combat timer is 5 seconds. So as long as you poke them every 5 seconds, you'll continue to restart that timer and continue to stay in combat and build up those stacks.
Exactly.
And if
You
you
have
can
to
do
hit
that and
a
play that
god
little
every
fun
5
gameplay
seconds,
loop,
that's what they're
you can stay
saying.
in combat and get a lot of magical power and a lot of life steal, especially for a tier 2 priced at 13.50.
Yes, and that's why the base power and lifesteal has gone down, because as Ro described there, the mechanic is a little bit easier than it looks like on the surface to actually maintain.
Yeah.
So we wanted to make sure that it wasn't too unfair, that when you are getting up to these high stack counts, that you're not going crazy and feeling even more powerful than the tier 3s, right? That's still our goal, is to make sure these guys are slightly underpowered compared to the tier 3s, but there are ways to access power
Honestly,
levels.
dude, these tier
almost
2s to me are
They make
just
it really cost efficient. If
they're
you can
just
maintain
icing
20
on the
stacks
cake,
for
dude.
an extended period
all
of
I
time,
care
you're getting
about is the
65
tier
power
3
from this
item, right?
and
So I
and
mean, if
what
we
is it,
get the
25%
benefit while I'm
lifesteal?
building
That's
towards that
insane
tier
over
3 item,
13.50
which I'm trying to
But it is
build,
a
have
that's
to earn
cool.
it. Yeah, you
I mean,
have to earn it. It takes 20 seconds to get there.
something's
and then
better than
you have to
nothing,
be able
you
to
know
use
what I'm
it
saying?
after that as well. So you're even combat. You're in combat for even longer. So yeah, if you can earn it and use it, it's really, really good. So I want to
I
see
don't
some
see
players
them
just kind
taking
of get in
away
there and get
from
into
these
combat
tier 2.
and
If
just
anything,
try
they've
to
been adding
fight
to
until
them.
that item is really
The only
efficient. and
caveat
then
to
win
that
the fight
is
after
that they're making the tier 2s a little bit
See,
more
it'll be simple, 'cause I'll be
expensive.
playing Khepri,
So you don't
the
get
enemy
that
Geb will
tier
buy it.
2
I'll
extra
buy it.
attack
We'll
power
just slap each other
as
in the
early
face
as
with
you
it.
used to. But when it does
It'll be-
finally
it'll be-
click
Yeah, that's a
over,
solid lane.
you're getting a lot more attack power
Alright,
and
so
a lot
next up, we're
more
moving to the ring tree,
passive
and we have
type
Mystic Ring.
abilities.
Yes, Mystic Ring. So this is a brand new item as well. This is going to build into
Yeah, that's
Demonic
that ring I was
and
talking
Hasten
about.
Ring. It's going to be 1,300 gold, 40 magical power, 20 attack speed,
Yep,
and
pretty cheap for those stats.
yeah, no passive.
Yeah.
Very standard.
Straightforward, beautiful ring that makes you hit harder and faster. So
That's right.
what else is to be said? Absolutely lovely.
Rhea,
so staying in this tree,
Oleron.
we have Enchanted Ring as well.
Yep, and then Enchanted
Soul.
Ring, which is previously the only tier 2 that has been in this tree, this now builds into Cyclopean, and the other ring in this tree, which is Telkines. I know the difference, believe me. There's a lot of rings. Okay. This passive is that your next basic attack deals an additional 5+3 per level magical damage. This effect can only occur once every 8 seconds, which is reduced by 2 seconds for each successful basic attack on an enemy god.
Right.
So that might seem pretty, vaguely familiar, of 2 different items that
That's
may
right,
also
yeah.
happen
It's
to
a
be
combination
in
of
the
both.
tree. A little bit of a mismatch where, if you want to upgrade up into Cyclopean, you'll get even more proc. A little bit easier as well. And then on top of that, if you decide to upgrade it to Telkines, you'll get a much better scaling proc. So you
This is
kind of
good
pick
for,
your path. You get
that's
a little
right,
bit
yeah.
of both,
For your
little
Freya,
taste of both sides, but
Oleron,
you got to choose
Soul.
one to go into up to the tier 3. The other things that happened to this item is that the cost went up because obviously you're getting a really nice effect on top of this, and
I
the
don't
power
know.
is also
I
going
think
down
that's
from
all I
40
can think
to
of, really.
35 because again, more procs, more power. Feels
Yeah.
nice.
It's one of those where you have to balance to make sure a tier 2 doesn't accidentally become kind of a tier 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, cool. We have all of our jewelry on. Time to hit the town. First stop, the library. We have the Book of Souls.
Yeah, okay, this, up next, we've got Book of Souls, which builds into Soul Reaver and Polynomicon. And again, you'll kind of see the inspiration that we took here when it comes to both of these items are essentially kind of proc items that play around, like, with your power,
Inflation like real
and
life,
the enemies, etc. So this one is that you gain a stack each time you damage an enemy god with an ability or basic attack. At 4 stacks, your next ability or basic attack deals 20 plus 4 per level magical damage.
Not bad.
Yeah. You before you choose your path, you get a kind of taste of both.
Yeah.
and you
But
can say,
they made it
well,
more
I'm
expensive.
getting
Soul
my
Reaver's
basic
now more
attacks a lot,
expensive.
right,
I
to
know
proc
for a
this
fact
item, so
Soul
maybe I
Reaver
wanna
was
go into
2,600
a really
gold,
strong
not
basic attack proc,
2,650.
and you go for Polynomicon, or if it's
There's
your
50
abilities,
more
you go into the
gold.
strong ability proc, which is Soul Reaver. So it's a taste
I
of
believe
both.
Polynomicon
Same as
was
the ring tree, you just kind of get the tier
2,300,
2,
so it stayed the
kind of
same.
see how your character or your god is playing out and how you're getting these procs, and then choose your path from there.
Yeah, the proc also does feel really nice, I will
Yeah.
say.
I like seeing numbers.
Big yellow numbers. That is the goal of this tree for sure.
Well, if Book of Souls isn't your favorite book, maybe put it back on the shelf and go check out the Book of Secrets instead. Might be
This
fun
one's
to
really
read.
cool.
Yeah, I like this one a lot.
This tier 2 item has a passive typed effect that we have never really done before
Okay,
in the
neat.
history of Smite. But let's talk about the stats really quick. It's 1,200 gold, 40 magical power, and 200 mana. So pretty solid stats
What you'd
across the
expect from a
board.
book. Yep.
Yeah, pretty normal. But let's talk about that passive. So what exactly does it do? So each time you damage an enemy god with an ability, gain a stack. Each stack does nothing, but when you upgrade this item, the stacks transfer to the upgraded item. You may only gain 1 stack every 4 seconds and can only gain stacks once per god per ability hit max 50 stacks. You know, all that
So it's like
other junk
a
that comes with it.
primer
But
for your Book of
essentially,
Thoth.
the really cool thing about this is that you can start stacking your Book of Thoth or Tablet of Destinies early.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
On a tier
great.
2, you could start this item and start
Now,
these stacks early.
for
So you
Book
can
of
see
Thoth,
there's 1 stack.
it's like
on
whatever,
every
dude. Because
there,
Book of
there's
Thoth
2
you can build
stacks.
very
You see the
fast.
4-second cooldown. That's
But
right. Yep. Yeah.
to
Harrison's
be
got this.
able
This is
to
it.
prime
This is
that
it. Every
tablet of
time
Destinies,
you
that's
damage
going
an
to be
enemy,
huge, dude.
same rules as tablet.
Because
Yep.
that's
You can
why I
get your
don't
stacks
use the
early. So this will
tablet.
stack up to 50
because
times
the
because tablet
building
stacks
the
up to 50 times.
Yeah, building
And I
the
guess that's a little
stacks on the
spoiler
tablet
from
is
the
a
future one
nightmare,
as well.
dude.
The other tier 2
Because of the
Book Thoth will
cooldown.
also stack up to 50 times now as well and adjust it accordingly. So yeah, really cool that you get to buy your tier 2. You can start with it if you want.
Yeah,
Get
for-
those
like I
stacks
said,
on
for
early.
Book of Thoth,
Even
it's going to be like,
just
yeah,
go and
whatever.
Finish some other
But for the
items, and when you've got
tablet,
a
that's
high
going to be
amount of
huge,
stacks,
dude. That's going to
boom,
be a
you transfer
very
those stacks
big
onto the
jump
tier
for
3 for
tablet.
just 1350 or 1300 gold.
'Cause of that
and
stupid
you're up and
cooldown.
away. You get kind of this head start on your build, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's been really fun to play around with, mixing up when you upgrade this item or, how often you're
That's
looking
gonna
to
be
actually
pretty-
start with
pretty
it.
good, man. I'm gonna have to test that
picking
out.
when you pick up the starter item as well if you want to start with this and then get a starter item when you back. It's just provided a whole lot of new shakeups in terms of, when you're choosing to back and when you're choosing to upgrade, which has been really, really interesting to play around.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, like you said, the 2 big takeaways were, one, when it said the stacks do nothing, I was like, all right, they cooking, because that's one of the lines that has like a but right behind
We
it.
hope players continue to read. after
But
I promise they do something later.
well, and see, you don't have to worry about that. You see how quickly I picked up on it?
There you
go.
Very intuitive.
So you can only gain 1 stack every 4 seconds. So, like he said, they took the tablet's stupid cooldown and gave it to that tier 2. But at least you're priming
exactly.
it early.
This is
So
essentially
I
just
mean,
a shift of all of the various stats that you gain from Book of Thoth from 100 stacks to 50. So the damage requirement is going up per stack, and you get more mana per stack as well. This is essentially no balance change at all, just moving the stacks to 50, so it plays more nicely with Book of Secrets.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So for every stack you get a Book of Secrets, will convert 1-to-1 into both Book of Thoth and Tablet of Destinies.
Perfect. Gotta love that. Continued reading, the chapter 2. All right, so cool. We're leaving the bookstore now and heading over to Sorcerer's Staff.
Yeah, Sorcerer's Staff. This one is the one that builds into Curse Weaver and Warlock's staff, and this one also has a very cool, unique new effect,
Cool.
where upon leveling up, you heal 10% of your maximum health and mana over 3 seconds, and the cost has also gone down from 1350 to 1300 gold.
Nice.
So yeah, we have never had an item with an effect on when you
On
level
level up,
up.
yeah.
So this has a limited amount of uses, as many
Yeah, I
of
was
you know.
gonna
You
say,
only get
what
to
kind
level
of
20 in a
stupid crap
game,
is that?
but you do level up rather quickly in the early game.
Yeah.
So if you choose to start this one, you'll be getting some nice heals at kind of new power spikes that really haven't been thought around much before.
Yeah, this was kind of an interesting one because we were thinking about tier 2s in general. And
So
being
you're
like,
pretty much
well,
getting
you
a
don't have
random
tier 2s
heal. That's
later
what it
into the
is.
game for too
You get a
long
random
because you
heal
just have
because you can't
higher gold
control when
gains
you're
at that
leveling
point
up.
in the
Who
game,
the
but
hell
in
is
the early
looking at
game,
their
if you buy
experience
this
bar? You know
early,
what I'm saying?
What are you doing a lot? You're leveling up a lot, right? Even in the very early game of Conquest, for example, you're getting level 2 off just the jungle camp. So immediately, before you even get to lane, you're getting a proc of this item. Then 1 or 2 waves, you're getting another proc. Another 1 or 2 waves after that, you're getting another proc. So it's a good amount of sustain in the early game, and then you can upgrade it to your item after that. Or you can hold on to it and just get that mana increase and the health increase every time you level up.
Yeah.
I feel like items like this are so deceptive too, because you're like, oh, well, what a limited effect. It only works X amount of times. But like you just said, like if once you learn how this item works, you could be boxing with somebody and you're like, all right, I'm about to level up. I can turn, throw an ability at the minion wave, start getting health back, keep fighting, win this trade. Like it's just, there's a lot of micro play that can be worked into
Dude,
this,
it's not
and
a lay of
upgrade
hands.
to
You're
whatever
only getting
item you want
10% of
after
your
you're on the
max
road.
health.
So
You know what I'm saying?
that's
It's
gonna
not
be
like it's
fun.
a
I'm excited
paladin
to
lay of
see
hands. Come
how the
on, dude.
talented Smite players put that
It's
together.
not going to make that much of a
So
difference.
moving on from Sorcerer's Staff, we have Enchanted Spear.
Yeah, this is the tier 2 that builds into Divine Ruin and Spear of Desolation.
Gotcha.
So this one is the pen tree, of course.
Yes.
And what does Enchanted Spear give? Well, it gives flat magical penetration. So Enchanted Spear is getting a cost decrease and a magic power decrease, but it's going to be a little bit easier to get this guy in the early game, started off a little bit faster, because now on damaging enemy god once per god per ability, gain 2 magical pen for 10 seconds up to 3 times.
Yeah, that's up to 6 magical pen on the passive alone.
That's gonna
so
be
you
good
get
for
5 on the item
Cuckoo.
as well, so 11 total. And again, it's this gameplay loop.
Once
Can
per
I stay in
ability,
combat?
though.
Can I keep hitting this god within that 10-second stack period?
Yeah.
And it stacks up to 3 times. I just want to maintain
Damage an
3
enemy
stacks
god
for as long
once
as
per
possible. So
ability
within every 10 seconds, I want to
gains
hit the
2
enemy god
magic
with an ability,
pen for
keep
10
a hold of that
seconds.
magical penetration, which is making up a really efficient tier 2 item for that price.
Yep.
Rock and roll. And last but not least, under the magical
So that's gonna be
tree
worthless.
umbrella, we
Once
have
per
the
ability.
restored
Nah.
artifact.
Yeah, restored artifact builds into a wide variety of items. There's not much that really unites
Restored,
Chronos
so
Pendant,
your
Charon's coin, and Rada Tahuti. But the one thing they have in common is mana sustain.
Yep.
They all got MP5. So
That's good.
one nice little boon you'll
That'd be
get
good
from
for
going into
Cuckoo,
restored
especially
artifact
early
is
game,
that
dude,
on
'cause early game,
damaging
he's a
enemy god once per
manaholic.
god per ability, restore 1% of your maximum mana.
That's right. Yeah, this one's really interesting. Yeah, kind of the more layers you think about it, it
That,
actually gets more
if
interesting.
you start with
because, like, well,
Sundering
what if my
Axe
god
and
has a
have
really
that,
cheap
that's going to give you a
costing
lot
ability,
more
you know,
mana
Thanatos,
for
example.
Cuckoo
He doesn't
early
really have
game.
mana problems anyway, but just an
Because
example
Cuckoo early
of a
game,
god
his
that has
mana's
really cheap mana
ridiculous.
costs.
Yeah.
You're basically just gaining mana by hitting abilities, so you can never go
That's good.
And for those gods that do go a lot, but you're hitting enemy gods a lot, there you go. You've got your item to restore
Yeah, I'm
1%
thinking
of
Might
your
work good
like
for
Evo
Nox,
is a really
too.
good character. Changa would be another really good
Yes, yep.
character to get this item on. Just characters that
Angara
have
especially stay out of base
those
for a long time. Yeah.
really quick cooldowns that are able to get yourself a lot of mana back real fast.
Yep.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also makes sense too that it's once per ability per god, because you know
Yeah.
Yes, could be
drop something
bit
to
crazy.
take damage. You're like, I just got 12% of my mana back.
Yeah, that would be a little wild.
That's a lot. So I like the balance on that because it makes it feel not insane. Cool. So we've made it through the magical items. We are into our final of the trio of variety items. We're into the defensive area now. This is as a Guardian lover, this is kind of my bread and butter. So I'm really excited to dive into these. And we're starting off with the Gem of Fate.
Yes.
Gem of Fate, an iconic, expensive item. You'll see a little bit less iconically expensive, but still
Yeah.
expensive. We felt like Gem of Fate's price was definitely a very interesting cost, and it has been that since I think its introduction in Smite in like
Believe so.
season 5 or something along those lines. So it's been a long time where it's been
So
900
they
gold.
decreased
But
the
we feel like
cost.
over the years it's been a little bit prohibitive in terms of making these items feel a little bit more balanced, especially in that power spike. You're getting this item and then you're getting the next couple of items really, really quickly afterward. So as you see here, the prices are not super different at the top end, but on the lower end, it's coming down quite significantly to let you build into this 10% cooldown a lot faster.
Yeah, really the only time you were happy that this item was 900 gold when you got it from your Gilgamesh passive. Like, oh my god, great, I got
Right.
a great value 900 gold starter. So we're just bringing it down to 750. It becomes more applicable to all gods. And then as you can see, we can only see half of the tree right now because we're on Capri. We're not going to make JMac change. Just take my word for it. The Knight's Shield, which is the one on the very right, the Apprentice Staff, those two that you can see both down from 1600 to 1500.
Yep.
And then Honed Edge, I know JMac can't see it right now, but same treatment down from 1600 to 1500.
Yes, and then every single tier 3 in this tree is retaining its tier 3 cost, except for Erendite, which is going down 100 gold, again, to kind
those
of get more
jungles.
in line with the jungle meta of keeping things at that reasonable price. Right?
Mhm.
Well, good stuff. That kind of covered that tree beautifully. So now we're moving on to some cool rocks. We have the Sage's Stone. I guess Gem of Fate is a cool rock too.
Yeah.
Second cool rock.
So Sage's Stone built into Erosion and Abyssal Stone.
Yeah.
The cost is going down quite significantly here from 1400 to 1250. The physical protection is also going down just a little bit, and the magical protection the same amount, but the health is going up. So we're doing a little bit here where we want to make sure that these items are feeling differentiated, but still related to the things that they're building into,
Yes.
right? Another item that does not have a passive, but a very, very solid stat stick that is significantly cheaper for slightly less prots, slightly more health.
Yep. And the reason we change these stats so heavily is because on the other side, on Enchanted Stone, again,
New.
no passive. It is new, but no passive on the other side, just stats. So we made these items as different as we could in terms of their stats. So Sage's Stone, as you see on the left there, and then moving to the right, we see the Enchanted Stone. Different stats, different cost, just to make your choice a little bit more interesting when you go into those tier 3s.
Nice. And yeah, like you said, new. So cool to see that in there as well. So all right, Emerald Mail is up next.
Yes, this is another exciting one over in the Emerald Tree. Surprisingly, I know, not in the Mail Tree. This
Had
passive
both words. It makes
is
sense. I
that
have to remember
getting
that sometimes.
an assist on an enemy god
Okay.
or minion grants protections for 5 seconds. You get 2 prots for 5 seconds. That goes up to 5 stacks. So again, all of these tier 3 items do provide protections in some form or another. Gauntlet of Thebes eventually gets prots.
Right.
So that's kind of the pathway that we were looking at here.
Yeah.
And yeah, the cost is also going up to
That's
compensate
gonna
for
be good
that
for
a little bit.
Yeah,
for
but
Ares.
10 prots would be
For
really
sure.
efficient. 5
When
stacks of
Ares
2,
runs with his
as long as you
blowtorch,
just,
it's
stay around
that
waves, stay around
AoE.
enemy gods that are dying.
So
as long as there's
if
action
the
going
minions
through
get
you,
in the way,
you stick around and
it
and
puts
use
that
those
flame
stacks,
on
that
him
item
and
ends up
kills
being
them,
really
and you get
cost-efficient for what it is.
those
Before it was
protections
kind of just
while
a
you're
stack
chasing
stick.
somebody
Stat
down, you
stick
have
of
your
health
chains
and
on 'em.
HP5 didn't do a lot for you.
and
Now
I
you
think
can
the
actually play
chain might
around.
go
They're
through
cool and
minions
passive.
and
And
attach
it
to
gives
a
you
god
great way
too.
to
So
engage,
I
too,
think that's gonna be good
if
for
if you're playing with
Ares.
somebody that's great clear, throw an ability through the entire wave.
And
let
I
them
usually
finish
use
off
those
the entire
gauntlets
wave,
of Thebes.
and then you
I
can
usually
start
use on
boxing
Ares
right
too,
after
so that
and
works
get
And
out.
then you're tanky.
protections built up.
I
Yeah.
believe it has
So
that
really
roar
cool.
at the
So,
very end. It gives you
similar
10%
tree,
more
got an emerald
protections, right?
talisman as
Yep.
well.
This one builds into Stone of Gaia and just kind of underbought. I would say
Very, yeah.
significantly underbought item.
Goated
So
Son of Gaia.
yeah, we're dropping the price here from 1,400 to 1,250. Just a nice big bump in the more purchasable direction to see if people want to play around with this knockup passive, which can be kind of narrow, but in the right matchups,
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's- in the
Tier?
right matchups, it goes hard.
by all means.
So quite the fire sale we have. A lot of these items, awesome price cuts. All right, so next it says new right here. I love the word new. Defender's Blade, huh?
Yes, this tree is looking quite a bit different here. So
Yeah, it is.
Defender's Blade is going to be building into Lotus Sickle and also Relic Dagger, two of the more supportive oriented items that you'll be checking out here.
Yeah, this one, you can hover over it there, JMac for us, so everybody can see it. Is 1350 gold for Defender's Blade, 150 health, 5% speed,
Wake up,
and
dude.
a 10%
Hover over it.
cooldown reduction.
Yes, that's kind of wild to get
Yeah.
the cooldown reduction at that point in the game as well.
Yeah.
These are kind of
Goes into
underbought
Relic
items as well. And we
Dagger,
kind of had that
Lotus
similar
Sickle.
discussion that we did with
5%
Stormseeker,
movement speed,
where it was like,
10%
should we
cooldown
bump
reduction.
this cost up? Maybe not, because for supports especially, it's going to be very difficult to kind of
Right,
go into
yeah.
those higher price points.
I mean,
but
those are
perhaps
good
making this
stats.
transition a little bit more exciting by putting some more enticing stats, I might
But,
say.
I mean, those are two
on the
items
tier
that are
2 is
like
gonna feel
niche
very,
type
very nice.
items,
So
right?
10% cooldown is really the standout here for Defender's Blade.
Yeah.
And to kind of move into the tier 3 a little bit here, Lotus Sickle
Jump up the tree.
is getting a slight increase in protections from 20 to 25 on that physical side.
Yeah, another underboard item as well. So we hope people actually just get eyes on these items. They see them in patch notes and they can buy them and actually realize how
I used to
good they
use
can
that on my
feel
Kumba,
real
even though
nice.
Kumba
Gotta
doesn't
feel
heal.
nice especially for a
Where
local
the
Lotus
movement
Sickle.
speed and the cooldown
So,
reduction and
after
the health
Lotus
and the
Sickle, we have
health,
Curse Blade
and it
to
worked
talk about.
really good because it was
Curse
so
Blade, this
cheap
builds
early
into
game.
just Toxic Blade, but
A lot of
essentially
people thought I was
this
crazy
is going
using
to be
it.
the anti-heal component of
but
Toxic Blade.
it worked.
But on
Early
Curse
game
Blade.
it worked.
Yeah, just another mini version to smooth out that curve.
A lot of people don't
problems with-
understand
we actually
stats.
saw
They
recently
think
with Smite
everything
2,
has to
where there was
be
a very low cost
categorized.
anti-heal item. Sometimes when you're like,
Hey,
oh my,
use the
this
stats you
enemy
want,
team
right?
has healing, we need to take care of it right now, but you don't have enough gold to get a full tier 3 item where all your anti-heal is. Now you can get kind of a mini version, just 1250 gold, get that 20% online. That'll help you out a little bit until you can get up to the 2300 cost of full Toxic Blade.
Yeah, that's really helpful to have because I feel like that decision always.
Dude, I
comes
haven't used
right
Wing
after,
Blade in a long time. I used to
oh,
love
I just
Wing
bought
Blade.
a tier 3. I have no gold. I
Yeah,
can
and you
either
just lost this
sell-
big team fight. Yeah.
It's like I can either sell and be completely inefficient, or I just have to wait till I get the money. So yeah, having that step
Yeah,
up is gonna
I
be
think
really
I
handy for
like
sure.
thinking out of the box
So
too.
now we're moving into the talisman.
It
territory,
surprises
the silver
people.
talisman.
You should have seen when I
Yeah,
first started using my
talisman time.
my
So as you can see here,
anti-stand build for my
Silver
cuckoo.
Talisman is going to
Dude,
be
people
building
were
into
losing their
only
minds.
Pestilence.
They're like, "What the
and
crap?"
the reason is because it also is going to be,
They'd never
be
seen a heavy
providing
defense
earlier
coup.
anti-heal.
Got it.
This one is kind of the same vibe as Pestilence, where if they're within 55 units, their healing is reduced, and again, it does not stack with similar auras, so no doubling up with Contagion, no double Pestilence and Silver Talisman. You got to make sure that you are sticking to one of them.
Yeah, choose your one. Let that be the one, because otherwise, again, not efficient. So now we have the word new yet again with renewing talisman. Looks
Yeah.
pretty. I like it.
Brand new tier 2 item here, building into Absolution, Heart Ward, and Talisman of Energy, with the passive that each time you are damaged or damage an enemy god, once per ability of course, you gain a stack. Upon reaching 5 stacks, you lose all your stacks and then restore 100 mana in a 40 unit radius around you.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
hmm
Oh,
So
so
one
you
of the cool
give
things that this
mana.
item kind of
That's
builds
kinda
into
cool.
is you get a lot of these useful team effects, right? So
Yeah.
these are all
Yeah.
very supportive versus, harmful from the pestilence side of things. So being able to grant some mana back to your team is a very fun effect. It also is very
Yeah.
thematic to the tree
It's
in
pretty
terms of
cool.
helping your team. And yeah, just a nice little mana boost as you're on your way to these other more standard mana boosts.
I
Yeah,
very
pretty good stats for
rarely
the cost
use
as well.
any of
Only
those tier
12.50
3
for
items, though.
35 magical
I don't think I
protection
use
and
any of these
150
items,
health.
tell you the truth.
And also, obviously, that mana hitting all your allies around you.
At
It
least
hits
I
you
haven't
too,
in a
so
long
you get a
time.
mana boost as well.
Yeah, very, very handy. And next on the list, we have Spellbound Kusari.
Yeah, so this is in the Kusari tree, of course.
Yeah.
And we split these up in a very interesting way where you have the more selfish Kusaris and the more selfless Kusaris. On the left, we've got our selfish ones. So we're talking about Spellbound here, which builds into Oni Hunter's Garb and Genji's Guard with the passive that when you are hit by an ability that deals magical damage, gain 5% damage, magical damage mitigation for 5 seconds with an internal cooldown of 12 seconds.
That's right. Yeah. So specifically against magical gods, as this whole tree is really,
Yeah.
you're building it. You need I need some sudden magical defense. This is actually a really efficient 1250 gold to buy this item. Really efficient damage mitigation for the magical gods specifically. So it won't help you against.
I
You
mean,
know, the hunters and the
realistically,
assassins
dude,
and
you're
the
looking at
warriors that are hitting
5
you, but if you're dying to mages,
hit
you
points
need
for
to fix
every
that real
100
quick. This
damage.
is
You
an
know
item
what I'm
to do it.
saying?
And 5%
It's
damage
like
mitigation might not seem like a lot.
in early
right? But
game,
against
mages
your
are
lane
doing
opponent,
what,
especially if
200
they're trying to
damage with their
combo into
ability?
you,
If
or
that,
there's
so
a
you're
magical
looking
jungler trying
at
to
10
gank you, or the
damage
mid
that you're
laner
not
has
taking.
rotated, or
It's
the
like,
support is
whatever.
smacking you. Any of these situations,
I mean, I
it's
guess
really
it's better
going to help
than
a lot, and
nothing,
it's
right?
going to add up over time.
Yeah. And
and-
sorry.
No, please.
Yeah, for the enemies playing against this as well, you can see that it only has a duration of 5 seconds, but an internal
with that
cooldown
internal
of 12
cooldown, I mean,
seconds.
it's
so you
like-
can kind of hit them with a low damaging ability, wait those 5 seconds, and then for the next 7 seconds, you've got full freedom where they don't have that damage mitigation, and you can burst them like you normally would. So both sides can play around this item.
Yeah, you can commit after.
Dude, it's
all right,
only
5 seconds is
5%,
over.
not
Now's the
50%.
time. Throw the ults.
Come on.
Super cool. Yeah. So next up, here's a new word that I've never gotten to use before. Daimyo's Kusari?
Yeah, Daimyo's Kusari.
Daimyo's Kusari.
So this builds into Void Domaru and also into Shogun's Kusari. And this passive is that for each enemy god within 55 units of you, reduce all enemy gods' magical protections by 4. For each allied god within 55 units of you, increase all allied gods' attack speed by 5%.
That's
So,
pretty cool.
If you got a lot of allies with you,
Yeah.
you're getting a lot of attack speed amongst yourselves. If you got a lot of enemies around you, you are reducing all of their prots by a significant
Yeah,
amount.
it
So,
sucks that they
again, one of
took
those
away the
best of both
cooldown
worlds items
reduction
where it really depends
on
on
that
how
item,
in there
on
you're
on that
getting. If
tier
you're around
3.
your allies more, you're going to be helping them a lot. But if you're around your enemies more,
Shogun's
you're going to be hurting
Kasugi.
them a lot.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's another one of those where you
Kusuri.
get a bit of both of the tier 3s, and then you choose your path from there. If you want to continue playing aggressive and stealing their taking their protections, then you upgrade into the offensive side. And if you wanted to stay with your team and give them the attack speed, then you go into the defensive side. So you just kind of choose your path. You get both from the tier 2 for only 1,300 gold, and then choose from there.
Yep.
Nice, yeah. Decide based on the flow of the game.
That's right.
So next up, we're moving over towards breastplate, specifically the silver breastplate.
Yeah, so you'll see that this tree has once again been split up into 2 different pathways, but Silver Breastplate is the one on the left. This now builds into Breastplate of Regrowth and Breastplate of Valor. The cost has gone up and the physical protection has gone down, but that's because, again, another 10% cooldown reduction on a tier 2.
Yeah.
Very, very interesting and applicable stat for those that want it. You're getting it anyway on the
Possible in
upgrades.
the next few
so
hours.
we're
Well,
seeing
looks like
if
I'm not
this
walking on
kind
the
of
beach today.
more power spiky method where you're getting more stats for a little bit more of a price point feels really good to players. And again, you are trading off some of those protections, so you're going to be able to be a little bit more offensive oriented with your extra abilities to be fired out, but you are going to be paying for that a little bit in a little bit more shmoney and a little bit less protections.
And it builds into that breastplate of regrowth, which is, again, another underbought item. We're going to help it just a little bit by adding 5 more protections to breastplate of regrowth, as you see, up to 50 now. I think that's even with everything in that tier 3 tree.
I think
they're all
that
50 now.
breastplate of regrowth, the
This
only
had to happen, so
person
they're
I've
all
ever
50.
used that on, I
Yeah,
think, was
just
Hercules.
bring everything in line a little bit and help breastplate of
Couldn't just
regrowth.
leave it at 45, the only one.
I
Yeah.
think Hercules
Yeah,
is the only one
that'd
I've
be
ever used
Prince.
that
It
item
started
on
feeling bad. So
that I
now,
can remember.
see the word new again, another new tier 2. We have the sturdy breastplate.
Yes, this is going to be building into Contagion and Spectral Armor, but this guy is another stat stick of an item. It's got a lot of props
Yeah.
for very, very cheap. 1050 is a very, very solid price for a tier 2 item. So this is going to be your power spike through stats versus power strike through passive of this tree. And so you are really enjoying to see some very solid stats there.
The most interesting part of this one is you're seeing HP5 instead of MP5 on this side of the tree in the breastplate tree. So very, very different than how it's always been. This whole tree has been MP5. But as we move on, we can move on to spectral armor now on the right side. And you can see no more MP5, it is now HP5. So this side of the tree, because they come from this tier 2, is now that health per 5 seconds instead of the mana per 5 seconds. So you get to get the tier 1,
Which
you just
makes
get your
sense,
physical
dude, 'cause I
protections,
think as
and
a
you choose
tank,
your path
you
from
need
there,
that
whether you want to go
HP5
health oriented
really.
or mana oriented. And then so on the right with Sturdy Breastplate is your health, and then Contagion again 25 HP5 instead of the MP5 that it previously had. The stats are getting adjusted as well. Spectral Armor down from 250 health to 100. Sorry, increased from 150 health to 250. So quite a bit tankier than what it was before.
Yeah.
And because of the mana got removed on Contagion, because again thematic with the health rather than the mana, we've added another 100 health to that item as well. So 200 health on top of the physical protections and the HP5 you got. Very tanky side of the tree, whereas the other side is more utility. Could be offensive with your cooldowns and
good.
your extra mana
That's
to use
good.
those
I
abilities.
like that.
But on the right
That was a
side,
good
you've got
buff.
the very defensive options.
Yeah, I like that too. I like the all right, what do I need for this game? I have a very direct path to choose which side of the stats I want. Just feels comfortable. It feels like a very intuitive change. You kind of flow up the tree based on the match.
Yeah.
So I had the honor of getting to tweet about this recently myself. We have Spiked Shield coming up.
Yeah.
Like a shield with spikes in it.
It is indeed a shield with spikes in it. This builds into Gladiator Shield and Void Shield
Yeah.
for 1,400 gold, so a more expensive side of things, but also a lot of procs, solid amount of health, and some good HP5. So a nice bit of sustain as well going into that side of the tree,
That's right.
which is always nice.
And then, we can take over to the Tower Shield.
We'll probably
which
be
is
having a
also having some
giveaway.
changes.
Yeah, so this guy built
not
into
this
Phalanx
Tuesday,
and
but the
Berserkers,
next
and the
Tuesday
passive might
if
seem
they give
vaguely
me some
familiar to you.
codes.
This
Usually
passive
give me
is each
codes
second
after
you
the
are in
next
God
battle
combat,
pass
gain
hits. The next
1%
battle
attack
pass will be
speed
on
for
Tuesday,
5
so
seconds,
usually
max
within
10
the first
stats.
1
So
or 2
again,
weeks,
kind
they
of
usually
similar
give
to
me
what we
some
saw with
codes.
Talon Trinket, but
We'll
a little
see.
bit less time in combat because we know that, in the solo lane especially, those guys like to brawl.
Yeah.
Trey
so
claimed his
that would be a
prize
pretty,
this morning. Had he
significant
not claimed his
stat
prize
bump
this
if you
morning,
were
we'd
to
been
be
giving
getting
away
even more stats
on
with
this
that. So I
stream.
want to be careful with that.
So
but
Trey,
we are
you
pulling
lucked
some
out, brother.
stats from this item as
You're
well
about
to
3
make sure
hours
that
away
it's
from
feeling
losing
pretty
your
fair,
prize.
that you're getting those extra bumps, especially the attack speed as well, because that is brand new for this level of
Yeah.
the tree.
So this is your kind of, your auto attacker version. You can auto attack whenever you want, obviously, unless you're disarmed, of course. And then the other Talon Trinket was for abilities. Obviously, abilities have cooldowns. Basic attacks do not. So, well, they have an attack timing, but they don't have a cooldown. So you're getting them much more often. So you have the chances to get them within that 5 seconds instead of the Talon Trinket one, which was within the 10 seconds for abilities specifically.
Yeah. It makes sense to me. And like you said, fun for brawling, right? Because if you're
It
really
is,
getting
yeah.
into each other's faces, you just build that attack speed, and it's just who has the better
Yeah,
sustain.
number
Guess we're
one
gonna
promoter
find
for
out.
Arena, but the hell, they
So
don't even
next up we
acknowledge
have
Arena.
Steel.
We're like the redheaded
this
stepchildren
one
of
is
freaking
very interesting.
Smite, man.
Yeah.
This one builds into only Mystical Mail. And you might be wondering, why does it build into
But
only
it
Mystical
is.
Mail?
Pretty easy.
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
some type
It is
of
the mini version of Mystical
some
Mail.
type
So
of
if you're really struggling in the
representation
early
is better
game
than
for your
nothing, right?
clear, or whatever you're playing, let's say solo lane because it's a tank item, you can get this magical damage per second to all enemies around you, just in the 25 units, same as Mystical Mail, but for a much lesser number, and not a number that's scaling either. So for 1,400 gold, technically you could start this, not too many
I
potions.
like using
so
this
just
on
two.
Ares also.
You could also just get your clear, you get a mini version of Mystical Mail. So if you're
Yeah.
I don't know, a Sobek or something that doesn't have much clear in the solo lane,
Yeah.
The
now all of
TikTok
a
is
sudden you do.
Smite.
So you can buy this. You can kind of get your clear online for at least a couple waves. You won't have too many potions, so you have to back early, but you can then back. And you can get
Yeah,
your
that's kinda
starter
cool.
item.
You
You
get
can
that
upgrade to Mystical Mail,
Aurora
and then you've really
early.
got some clear. So this just brings the price point down to get the value that you want from this item down to a 1,400 gold value.
'Cause
But again,
you know what
it won't
this
scale.
is
It won't be
for
better than the 2-3.
Ares,
It'll still be
he
worth it
gets
to upgrade into the full
attack
Mystical
power
Mail, but this
per
will give you
Aurora
just a
he
little
has,
bit of a
right?
taste.
So if you're
Exactly.
getting this
It's one
at
of the
tier
several
2,
options
that
we
means
talked
not
about
only
thus
are
far
you
that
going to get
gives you
this
that
health and
a
its
little
protections
better
and the
clear,
extra
usually
15
not
magic
do
damage,
that well,
you're going to get
which
the
can
extra,
open
I
up a
think it
whole
was
world
like
to you,
10
you know,
attack
Exactly,
power
right.
or
A lot
whatever
more
you
gods can be
get
played in a lot more
per
positions
Aurora,
when you
right?
start
Because
doing
now
this
you're
type of
getting
stuff.
that
Yeah, that's
Aurora
really, really fun.
early.
So next up,
for
we
Ares,
have
this
the
is gonna be
word
great.
new one more time, and that's Bronze Mail.
Yes, Bronze Mail, the other side of the tree here, builds into Sovereignty, Midgard, and Emperor's Armor. And as you know, we like to do a little bit of combining here in terms of effects when it comes to
For sure.
the kinds of things that you upgrade into. So Midgard's kind of anti-attack speed, anti-basic attacker, kind of
Yeah.
a similar idea with Emperor's Armor when it comes to, the ability
Protecting
to
your towers, yeah.
protect your towers. Similar idea, but a little bit different because you're getting sustain from Sovereignty. So instead of getting sustain, you're getting a shield. And when are you getting those shields? When you get basic attacked. So getting hit by every 4th basic attack you're damaged by grants 75 health shield that lasts for 5 seconds or until it is destroyed. These shields don't stack, they refresh.
Yep.
So you can't just keep gaining shield. It'll only ever be up to 75 health. And then, of course, checking out the stats here, it is 1250 gold for 20 physical prots and 150 health.
Really cool too, because a lot of effects are based
I
on
think
how
I use
often
any of
you're
those tier
hitting
3s.
somebody.
Yeah.
But to see the every 4 hits, every time you get hit for the 4th time, you get a benefit. It's kind of cool because it incentivizes getting in their face, trying to block the attacks, and then gives you in segments more health to survive, being that wall, being that shield. So what a cool effect, man. I love Guardian stuff. So next up, we have Cloak of Concentration.
Yep, this is the last tier 2 that we're seeing any real big change to. This is over in the
Yay.
cloak tree, of course. And we are doing a bit of adjustments here. It's gaining a passive that when you are hit by a hard crowd control, steal 10 protections from all enemy gods within 20 units for 5 seconds with an internal cooldown of 5 seconds.
Interesting.
Yeah, stealing is the key
Yes.
word there.
Yeah.
So you're taking the protections from them, everybody around you, and giving them to yourself.
All
So
right,
if you
bud.
had 5 enemies around you, that's a lot of protections,
lot of
for
protections.
you, and taking 10 from everybody around you. So really, really efficient. Again, if you're getting in the middle of people
dog's
in
getting
your arena
frustrated. He's
games
like,
or just
"Dude,
a
get
big
on with the
team fight in
gods."
Conquest, if you get
This
hit
is
by
boring.
that hard CC, let's say you're a frontliner that would buy this item, you're diving in and immediately you get CC'd as soon as
I
you're
got all 3 of the
amongst
little
5
knuckleheads
people.
here today.
Boom, that's 50-50 protections, and they're all losing protections for your team to come in and kill them. So a fun item to play around again.
For sure. And one of those too where, as a frontliner, as some kind of guardian, you're like, all right, I know for a fact if I dive directly at them, they're going to CC me on reaction. And you feel, big
Dude, I'm
brain
so
play,
over these
peppery
tier
brain
2
play,
things. Let's move
'cause
on
you're
to
like,
gods
you
and
CC'd me
skins.
in the middle of your team. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. We've been
And
streaming
again, it's thematic
literally
to
for
the
an hour
tier
and a
3s
half.
that it builds into. Obviously, Spirit Road procs in the same way, and then in your Mantle of Discord, you're also doing this area of effect, but it's a stun this time. So again, you get the taste of both, and you kind of just choose which one you want to go into from there. Or you can hold on to it for a while, too.
And that's the
Yeah.
last thing we have to talk about here, actually, is Mantle of Discord just joining in the fire sale.
Yeah, once upon a time, this item was one of the best items
Everyone
in the
would
game,
buy it,
if
yeah.
not the best item in the game. And that mantra has fallen off quite a bit
Yeah.
in recent times as, other defensive items have been added into the game. Other effects have gotten stronger. It's gotten slightly weaker. So we were just bringing the price down a hair, about 100 gold. So it's going to feel a little bit nicer to buy into, have that extra mantle stun if you need it to get away.
Yeah. Good stuff. All right, so we've done it. We've talked about the items.
A lot of items.
That was a lot. So tier 2's really getting
Yes, it
shaken
was.
up, though. So JPack, thank you for guiding us through
Yeah,
all of
thank you,
course as
J-Back.
well, and knowing the trees that well. I'd have been up there typing in things, and people would have had to suffer through seeing me not know how to type words. So good stuff. So there's obviously a little more balance to talk about. We have some gods we want to get into in a little bit. But let's take a breather from the balance for a sec and check out some of the other content coming to the mid-season update, starting with the Doom Circuit Cross-Gen Pass. So for those familiar, we have a new Cross-Gen Pass every single update. And these are things that provide cross-gen skins for Smite 2. So if you want to, there's a free track obviously, but if you want to buy in, earn the levels throughout the update, get a bunch of beautiful cosmetics for Smite 1 and then some cross-gen Smite 2 skins as well, which are always fun to look at. So let's start by looking at the first of them, which is Ceramic Circuit Collie.
Ceramic. Oh, yeah,
Oh.
ceramic.
Oh, that does
Yep,
look
that-
nice.
ceramic is indeed that material.
Not quite as nice looking as the who was that? Discordia ceramic skin, I think?
Yeah,
It's
the-
very polished,
Yeah.
prim proper. This is a bit more
Battle
She has
worn.
blood on her
airy.
face. Yeah. Less
What
polished.
kind of event is she crashing in on here? My goodness.
I don't know. It's
A wedding, yeah.
a wedding, a gala maybe. They have like the stacked wine glasses or whatever, so you know it's a fancy event. Like, but yeah, I mean, what else is to be said? She's horrifying and made of porcelain.
Oh,
Wow, yeah,
Oh,
very
no.
shiny.
Oh,
Whoa,
no,
yeah, that
no,
like
no.
glows.
look at
Oh,
the
no,
textile
no,
too. You can
no.
see all of that like energy coursing through
That's
the
horrible,
circuitry. I
dude.
like the like transparent
The floating
level of the
arms.
material too.
Yeah.
Oh, and the arms, dude! I didn't even notice that. That's
Yeah.
so cool.
Man, whoa.
Yeah, what a unique presentation for a four-armed character to have just the two kind of floating back there.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
I just can't get over like the immediate transition to wow, that thing is shining.
Yeah, let me do it
probably
for
looks
you.
Really good. Let's check out the Smite 2 render for this one.
Yeah, if it was shiny in Smite 1, it's gonna be
Yeah,
shiny in
I
Smite
bet.
2 even more.
What's the textures on the weapon, actually?
I mean, it
is
looks a little bit
really
better
stands out
in
to me. You
Smite
get
2.
Yeah.
The highs and the lows of like those
Like the
dark bits.
engraved.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah, the
yeah.
engravings. Super, super cool.
Awesome.
Love how like shiny it is.
I
It's just
agree.
so cool.
I agree.
For
Yeah,
Smite
I'm
2,
a
it looks a
fan
little bit better.
shiny
For Smite 1, it looks like
They
crap.
have the brand of a pelican.
Shiny.
So to move on in the Doom Circuit Cross Gen Pass, we have Nanomancer Baron Somdi.
This team is so cool.
It says, look at this.
So good.
There you go.
He's just really creepy.
Like, I love when smiling, which is generally
Was
know,
it
a
just
happy,
delayed?
a joyous, a wonderful. I love when you can find a way to make it that
Evil.
threatening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
think
I
it's
don't
just-
want to go up against that Baron. Let me just say.
No, I think
Oh, and
the
is that
red
his
piercing
coffin?
eyes.
Oh,
Oh,
he is
yeah, I
coming out
guess
of his
it would
coffin,
be.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Swirling void inside the coffin.
Mhm.
Yeah, you do not want to get ulted in there. That's not the life of the party, I think.
Yeah,
I
you
think
end
you're
up
lying
going-
His
to me.
face kind
You
of
end up going
reminds
where he
me
came
of
from. Okay,
Medusa.
that's so cool.
Dude. Oh, I love the jacket.
Look at how happy that.
Oh, I see. So styling. Isn't he supposed to be a scary robot?
Baron's always styling.
Bro,
Doesn't
someone
matter.
steal his look.
Like, look at that dude.
No,
as
they
well.
didn't
Like,
give him a
my boy-
freaking man
That's
bun.
what
Oh
I'm
my
saying. Yeah.
lord. Damn hippies.
like, no matter what form he takes, no matter if he's a cartoon skeleton or a scary robot from alternate red dimension, like, he is always styling on him.
Oh yeah.
It's just the Baron way. It's one of the things I love about him the most, I think. I also love the skull
Almost
on top
has
of
a
the staff, by the way.
Terminator
Can we
2
shout out how
lookish.
high definition that looks? Like, it's just a really well made skull. Yeah, we gotta wait for
I
that,
don't like the way
pan.
his
Yeah,
man bun looks,
there
so
it
I
is.
think
That's
they could have
awesome.
done
All right,
better
let's
than
check this
that.
out in Smite 2 real quick.
Again with the metals.
That looks nice.
Right?
Yeah.
We're
that
always
looks
shouting out
nice.
the textures, and really that plus the lighting.
Dude, I'm telling you,
is
that
what's
That's what
Unreal
I
Engine
love,
5
yeah.
is just
Yeah, look at
freaking
the lighting
awesome.
from the snake as well.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Imagine that in game.
The various
Yeah,
different
and you can see kind
shadowing
of the
and
lights
stuff
coming
is
out of the
really
rib
nice.
cage as well. I just love how like grounded it feels because you can see the effect that the snake has on like that left side of his clothes as well, where the light is coming from the snake.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's so
yeah,
sick.
Super cool.
I'm constantly drawn to the big red eyes on both the skull and on his head with no eyelids to like short, like you get the full circle of the eye. Very threatening to me for some reason. Like being
Yeah,
that
what is
specific
it with the
color.
eyes this patch, guys? What's going on?
That's true. We gotta talk. We gotta talk to our design team. We need some eyes on them. Make sure they're okay, especially after that cap.
Yeah,
All right,
his
let's
head
not go
does
back
have
there.
the
Let's just say that
Terminator
this
look for
is
sure.
The
It
Doom
reminds me
Circuit
of it
Cross
too.
Gen Pass. You can look forward to this one in the next update, which is next Tuesday. It's always still crazy.
Yeah,
to
I
say
don't
that.
know
It's been that way
what
for
a
long
cross-gen
time
skin
now,
they're going to
but,
give
like,
me. They might give me the
everything
Baron.
is
Who
relative. Time
knows?
flies, and it still
I
feels
hope they
weird to
don't
say,
give me
yeah,
the
it's only
Kali
5
one,
days
'cause
away,
I don't
and
really
the
like the
update's right
Kali
around the
one.
corner. So the next thing I want to talk
Out
about
of the
this
two,
one,
I'd rather have the
really
Baron
excited
one.
about this one. This one's fun. I love
fun
doing
event,
stuff
yeah.
like this. We have the Summer Sizzle event. So the Summer Sizzle event is similar to events of the past you may have seen. There's going to be a variety of cosmetics, skins, and other cosmetics throughout the event. And obtaining at least 3 items from the event, from the Summer Sizzle event, will net you a Donzaburo skin, which we will talk about in just a second. We're not gonna jump this one. We're
Yeah,
gonna
I
to
always
it in
get
a
the one I
second.
don't want because
So
that's my luck,
if
dude.
We've had events like this in the past. I'm sure you're similar, but this one has some really fun skins that I'm excited to talk about. And the first is the Mighty Mutt Fenrir.
I just gotta.
Oh my god.
I just
Oh,
gotta
they need to give
stop
me
for a
this skin
second
right
just
here.
Boy.
They better give me this
Lord,
skin to give away.
What we're looking at here.
Playing fetch.
Tears hand.
Freaking pugs,
Oh,
man.
no.
It is Tears hand.
Oh no.
Oh, but he's such a good boy.
He's so cute.
With his big bulbous eyes. Here we are with the eyes
Yeah.
again.
Oh, dude, I got to
Oh,
get that one.
gosh.
Let me see it
Yeah,
in
that
game.
is
Show,
that's
they
an
better
interesting
show it in
take
game.
on a scary dog.
It
Different
says
kind of
Fen
scary.
Pug on the dog tag.
It's
Oh.
it's Finn Pug.
Fenrir has such like unique proportions as well,
Dude.
like his lower half being
I'm
smaller,
so
so it looks
getting
really
this
funny
one.
on this skin
Yeah.
with the huge head. Too.
Yeah, you might
Let me
think
see what it
like,
looks
oh,
like in
forced
game.
perspective, but
Oh my god,
Oh,
and
yeah.
he's drooling.
Yeah.
You know what vibe it gives me? You remember the
Freaking
live action
pugs.
Scooby Doo when Scrappy like got mid transformation and stuff?
I hope they give me this one to give away. That would be
wow.
epic.
I love the flame collar.
I
Though. It's very
really
flavor
hope they
town
give me
though.
this
Yeah,
one to give
he's
away.
styling for sure.
He is.
That is
And-
one proper pup.
Every time he
I
gets
don't know
in the
this cro-
face,
I
like,
think it
there's-
is
there's
crossover.
potential
So
for it to
much
be
drool.
threatening.
That'd be a lot of
You
money
see
for them
the
to
face,
waste
the
on a
eyes.
skin like
And
this.
weird
That's
drool
not.
like that naturally, or is that
trust-
just for the skin?
I think that's just this skin. I think this is new.
I don't know.
This little curly cute tail.
Extra details.
Aw, so
Oh,
cute.
what a little man.
I just want to pet his little face.
Well.
I feel like he bites.
Yeah.
We saw how he was. doing with
Ill-advised,
the
I think.
hand. Yeah. Let's look at the Smite 2 render for this guy.
Yeah, so it's a cross-gen skin for sure. They're doing a Smite 2
Why does he
render
look so
of
much
it, right?
sillier?
But
I
he
think-
looks so much more innocent now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not as menacing.
Like what a threatening pose for what an adorable face.
Yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
they
I do
so
really
better
like
give
the,
me
like,
this one to give
upgrades
away,
the
not
fur
the stupid
texture here.
collie.
It really looks like he's got hair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like around the mouth as well. That skin texture is really good there
Yeah,
too.
the folds and the wrinkles.
Yeah.
Imagine the drool in Smite 2.
Oh, gosh.
High fidelity drool.
High fidelity drool.
Yeah, so
That's
just
what we've wanted.
wait for that. Yeah, it's what you've been asking for. All right, so next up, here's one that I'm sure that y'all will enjoy. I mean, I'm not gonna premise this one. We're just gonna Goth Gourmet the Morrigan. There's, what more can I say?
You know, I haven't seen
must
this
not
art
speak.
before.
You haven't?
I haven't seen the art before. But
Name yourself, me in the bottom right. That's all I'm saying. That's all I have.
you know, I think the art team knew what they were doing with this one. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that.
They knew.
Who the hell
They
is
knew
this?
for sure.
I think that there was a mighty inspiration, and it flowed through them to create art.
Is this
Yeah, what
Afro?
an interesting theme as well. A waitress, but a goth waitress specifically.
Yeah, I will shout out to a restaurant. Man,
The goth griddle.
yeah. I just so many words and so few that are going to be said.
Oh, the
this
Morgan?
is a good skin. I'm excited for this because goth.
She's so pretty.
I was trying to think if like the guy in the bottom right was any of the other skins because we see that a lot in like the card art where like
Yeah.
it calls it. And the only ones that came to mind were like maybe an Apollo or a Mercury. 'Cause they have skins
That
kind
too.
of like
You know,
that, but I,
Yeah.
I
don't
could
know
see
if that's
them
either of them.
finding themselves in a situation like this. You know, that
Yeah.
seems about right.
Well, there's Raw just above his head there. I'm pretty sure anyway. All right, well, cool. Yeah, let's see her in game.
Oh,
Nice.
dude, she's styling.
She is styling. Look at that makeup
Goth
too.
griddle.
Oh, look at the
Got the
pins.
notepad.
Shing Chen Burger, Chef Vulcan pins, dude. She
And
knows
the
her
artwork
Smite
is really
lore, my
nice.
God.
They did a
She
really
does.
good job with the
She's
artwork.
caught up on it. So, looking absolutely fierce. She's got it all. Let's check this one out. Let's
We
dive
have
in
to,
for
please.
it.
Dude, this is a
Make the
cool
spatula.
It almost looks like a freaking
so-
Fortnite
I don't think I've
skin.
ever seen a spatula that big before.
Yeah, it looks almost like a rake. Like it's rake sized. I need to buy
Big
one
pancakes.
of those now.
Yeah, big pancakes apparently. All right, let's see those effects. I'm
Yeah,
excited.
let's check it out.
Dude, the Morgan has not gotten crap in so long, and she was due, man.
Again, it's,
I almost
it's one of
forgot
those
she was in the
where I'm
game.
like, What more
Goth
can
colors,
I say?
yeah.
The pinks are so fun.
They are very fun. Pink is such a good color.
2 is better than 1.
Or 3 if you use the first.
Yeah, true. Or 3.
We're up to 4. This is a dangerous game we're playing.
You know what?
Time for today's special.
That doesn't look like a god witch.
Yeah. Let's go
That looks
back.
like
Let's go
old.
back.
This isn't as entertaining. We need to go back.
But no, a really cool
The
skin. And
effects are
yeah,
cool,
again,
yeah.
I like that the effects kind of match the aesthetic of the skin itself, but also the hair a little bit. You know, just you got that pink for the highlighting. So a really cool skin, very thematic. That's one of the things I love about this company, man. Is like they'll see something and be like, that's a fun idea. We should move forward with that.
Yeah. And
And-
well executed.
I mean, at
as
least
well.
she doesn't
Yeah.
have arms
Like,
coming
our
out
team
of her
knows how to have
back and a
fun.
bunch
The
of eyeballs
fashion
all over
as
her,
well.
right?
I
So, I
love the
mean,
people I work
that's a plus.
This is a cool place, man.
That
All
seems
right,
to be
so
their
that is,
go-to.
one of the other skins in the Summer Sizzle event, but there is one more. What is summertime without a little bit of a party? And we'll see that after we see the Smite 2 render. I was holding out on y'all. I was too late.
Yay!
Yeah.
There we go. I don't know what to say again other than
No,
like the
yeah,
textures just
it-
Yeah,
feel
it's
so
just such a level up every time. It's
so
crazy.
good. You
yeah.
can see like the individual straws in the
You can see
pocket
the
as well.
I
the
would
shine
love
of
it
each
if they
individual
showed us
link on the
this in
chain.
actual
the
Smite
material
2,
of the
right?
Apron, like,
I mean, Smite
Such a
2 is
level of
already
detail that like
d-
it's crazy to
put
imagine.
into
Like, I
play,
played Smite
so
back in 2012.
if they could
and
show
now
us,
we're
like,
here in
side by side, that
2024
would be
where
really
We're
cool.
getting this level of detail from the same
not
game.
just the
It's
card
awesome.
art.
Yeah, I mean, my earlier Smite play was probably closer to the 2014 times, but
I would
even
like to
still,
see the
you know,
live
like,
Smite
you see a
2
game and you're
render
like, wow,
of
this
this.
what an incredible game! And then 10 years later, moving on to the second game, moving into a new, and it's just, I don't know. Count the ways that you can point out what a journey it's been.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see how the animations and the FX have leveled up as well because you already know that's gonna look really
Yeah.
cool.
Oh. All right, so I teased this one a little earlier while I was playing up the Smite 2 render. It's party time. It's summertime. It's party animal Donsboro.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
Donsboro and flip flops.
Oh man, I'm gonna have to get this one
What-
too.
It's so small too. It's
They are so small.
They better
I
show
just love
this
this
one.
theme. Just a completely different animal as well. He's like a little fox guy.
yeah,
True.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Obviously, he's the life of the party, though, because like homeboy in the back left has his head on a shirt.
Oh man,
He's supposed to be like, and you see his name on stage, so he jumped.
he looks
off
like a
the
little
stage
Jersey
famous,
Shore
yeah.
to
guy.
hype up the crowd before going to put a show.
It
on.
does look like he's having a lot of fun though.
Yeah. Are those fingerless gloves? Is my boy rocking?
Of course.
Fingerless gloves. He's got the shader shades
Stutter
on as well.
shades,
the
yeah.
stutter
Yeah.
shades.
I don't know how they're staying on, but they're staying on.
Downzo the situation.
When you're
Sheer
magical,
force of party.
sheer force of party. Yeah, or he spilled a drink on them. They're just a little sticky. So
Oh,
Oh,
dude,
look
look
at
at
the
that
gun.
weapon.
Air Blaster 2000, I think.
Oh, dude, he's
looks
so
so
cute.
He is. I love his little backpack.
That is
my boy's
adorable.
prepared for
Oh.
He's got a little ticket on the back there. Yeah, he's ready.
Oh, dude, that looks like the SWC.
He looks
Oh,
like
that's
Elton
really
cool.
John.
Like,
So
That's a great
fun.
ad.
Office.
Yeah.
Bro, that's really cool.
Yeah,
I
dude.
just love
That's so
Donzaburo too. Like, what a character.
He looks like
He's
Elton
just such
John.
a happy
Donzo
little
Elton
guy,
John.
and I feel like this vibe fits him perfectly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's always needed leopard pants, honestly.
Oh my
let's
lord.
check
There's
this
something
one
cool
out
with the
in
ultimate. Yeah, can we see it in game?
Oh yeah, there's
perfect.
a couple
there he
characters
is.
for this one.
He looks so,
Yep, that is a really cool weapon.
That
dude.
is. a
oh,
really
he
cool
looks so
weapon.
stupid. I might have to
Magical
get it.
QR code.
Oh,
Oh,
all access. Yeah.
What does it? What does? I don't. Does that lead to something? I don't know.
I have no idea.
That'll
Maybe
be,
it does.
Tweet at me if you figure that out. I hadn't thought to try that.
Dude, that's awesome. All right, we gotta see these effects.
Yeah, let me see the effects.
Little guy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the
Oh, little
balls,
disco
yeah.
balls. Look at that.
Oh, and the coins are disco
Oh,
balls.
that
Pick 'em
is
up,
so
J-Mac.
cool.
Hey.
That'll be a lot
Yeah.
harder to miss. I feel like I'm always like I didn't see it.
Oh my god, it's a little dance floor.
It is.
I kind of want to stand on that now.
That's kind of
Pineapple.
cool.
Enemies you should not get in that.
It looks kind of okay.
That is
Oh, cool.
so
cool.
cool.
The lights,
Oh,
What
and he
is
turns
that?
into little tickets.
Oh, they're tickets.
Oh, VIP tickets. Okay.
the dance floor with the lights.
I mean,
shooting
that'd
up
be
in the air
that could be
is
kind of
Yeah,
fun
this is
to
so
play.
sick. Okay. Oh.
Oh,
Oh my god.
It's the party.
Battle bus.
Hop on. Oh my god.
He's hanging out the side
Oh
of it.
yeah, I
Oh
see
my
the left
god.
there.
Okay, do it again. Hop
He's
in.
got the lean, dude.
That's. Oh,
That's
so he's
pretty
only.
cool.
Okay, that's really sick.
Oh, that's
That
smart.
is
Yeah.
so awesome.
That's so cool, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That's
pretty cool. I like
awesome.
that one.
Let's see. I've heard tell that there's a VXG we should see with this one
Ooh,
as well.
please.
Oh,
my God.
My
dancing.
boy.
Oh my god.
On the dance floor as well.
That's so good. That is
floor
so,
moves with you. That's
what a
really
cool
cool.
effect. Yeah,
It's like the
floor
whole
changes.
floor has already been patterned out for it.
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude.
And he's
Maybe-
taking advantage. Look at
That's
him
a,
go.
that's a glimpse of what he sees. That's just like opening a portal into his eyes. You know?
Gotta see how he sees it.
Oh
Oh,
man.
he's so happy. Look at him.
Dude, he's breaking it
Oh
down.
my
Oh,
God,
the
the
glass is
glasses.
almost coming off.
Yeah, I like how they're like jumping around a little bit. Oh man.
That's adorable.
Dude, Donza's like, make a bad skin for Donza challenge. Impossible. with the
Impossible.
people working at our company.
I wonder if this is going to be part of a battle
This is
pass
peak.
or is this
This
going to be
is
something
so
to
peak.
buy
This has
with
made my week,
gems?
made my month, honestly.
Yeah, like if there were the bad vibes from Brain Kepri are being released away right now.
What do you mean? Those were excellent vibes.
It was a great skin. It made me scared and uncomfortable.
Listen, that's the point.
I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
Someone
it
whose
man.
dog is named
That-
Kepri. I was a little terrified for him.
Them cheeks are sore now from laughing at this
Oh
fool.
man!
Oh,
All right,
God, I
well,
can't
this
get
is
over this.
powerful stuff. The last skin of the Summer Sizzle event, and of course,
Oh, it's the
we
Summer
have to see that
Sizzle
Smite 2
event.
render. You know,
Yeah.
we can't not.
Oh,
Yeah.
Look at him,
Look at them
dude.
pants.
I just love how fluffy the jacket looks too.
Yeah.
That's so
It's
awesome.
so
Just the different levels
fluffy.
of fluff, the fluffiness.
And I mean, obviously, we say this about a lot of these skins, right? But like, look, all those dance effects you just saw, all the lights, the disco balls,
Yeah.
that bus.
Those
Can
are
only
look
imagine.
incredible.
Those in Smite 2 are gonna be
Mhm.
crazy. Like, you know how sometimes you're playing, I don't know, Assault or something, you're trying to do a jump party, but then there's always the stinker that's like, nah, dude, I'm here to fight. Like, it will be impossible to deny a jump/dance party when you have this
Yeah,
Donza
I like the
thrown
Halloween
Oh, yeah.
events
Yeah,
too.
well, with his too as well, you can force people to dance with you anyway, so you can get them in that circle and throw the dance floor on top of them. So they're dancing whether they like it or not.
All right, I'm getting word from the inside from Billy, and he's saying that chat figured it out. You want to know where that QR code goes?
I'd love to know.
Smite.com.
Oh,
Dang.
It literally actually works. It goes to the website.
That's cool.
That's
Yeah,
so awesome.
Thank y'all for figuring that
Dude.
out, chat. That's good stuff.
Well done.
Man, and shout out to our designers for being like,
Must
yeah,
have
we
been
can put a
quick,
QR
huh?
code. Yeah.
whipped out the phone straight away.
Yeah. So y'all are the goats. That's why I
Fucking
love you.
nerds.
Okay, cool. That was the Summer Sizzle event. Yeah, and again, that'll come with the next update. Donzaburo skin, as long as you get 3 other things from the event, you will receive that skin as well, and the party will be in your hands. So carry that with honor. It's like being
Oh, so you
knighted,
gotta
are the
buy
party- the
3
party.
things in order to
So,
get that. That
so now
boo.
we've talked about some cool new cosmetics. Let's dive back into Balance Land one more time to talk about some gods. How about it, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
Y'all ready? All right, let's do it. So let's call this regular God balance because
Yep.
there's some,
Yeah.
some other stuff. So under regular God balance, let's kick
Or
it
is
off with
this?
Vulcan. Let's
Wait a
call
minute.
it
Is the
So to
summer
kind of
event? Is that the new
preamble
battle
Vulcan a little
pass?
bit.
Is that what that was?
Before we even talk about Vulcan, we've been
think that
feeling
is the
like
new
the
battle
game has
pass,
been
ain't it?
feeling very solid across the
Or
board. Been
not?
getting a lot of feedback in terms of the new items. Not so much that things are too
I don't
crazy
know. I guess we'll
in
figure it
really
out.
any direction. The only character that we felt like we have been really united on and seeing a lot of discussion about
'Cause I know you said there
since
was a
bonus
paid
bounce
and a
especially is
non-paid.
Vulcan,
Yes.
and that is why we've got Vulcan on our list here. He is the only character that will be receiving a nerf in this patch. Everybody else getting some
Yeah, I'm
buffs.
not
so
sure
let me see
either.
buffs, but
Sorry,
let's
Vulcan
talk
players.
about
I just remember him
Vulcan.
saying there's a
So,
paid and an unpaid. And
why is
the only
Vulcan
thing I
even
can
on
think
this
about
list?
that
Well,
is the
in the
battle
last patch,
pass, right?
We were giving his Inferno Cannon the ability to proc ability item effects, and that certainly did help him out quite a lot.
Yes.
We
very
did see
successful.
his popularity go up a ton, which is
Good.
always awesome. We love to see that. But his win rate also spiked up quite a bit as well. So we're taking down the backfire cooldown, or rather pushing it up to make you have it less often. Same idea with Inferno Cannon, and then we're also taking down the damage in the late game. Specifically the late game,
Yes.
because early game, you're not having any
The
of
proc
those
items.
proc items, so really that didn't affect it at all.
That sucks, dude.
But we wanna
20
make sure
damage
that
late
when
game?
you're proccing the items, you're getting a little bit less damage across the board.
Yep.
That makes sense.
Simple as that.
That sucks.
Sorry, Vulcan players. All
Had to
right.
happen.
So next up, Cupid, little dude.
Oh, Cupid. So you'll see we kind of have these bunched into a couple of categories here. We're in our hunter category
All right.
of some either low performing, low popularity, kind of any of those combinations
Yes.
of characters. Cupid is amongst them. And what you'll see here is we'll just talk about what we do first, and we'll talk about why. So what we're doing is we are increasing his basic attack power from 32 to 38. So that's what you get at level 1.
Nice.
And then per level, we're increasing from 2.3 to 2.5. He was just on the very low end of things.
Very
and as
low
a
end, yeah.
character with not very many abilities that do damage, you do have to rely on your basic attacks for a lot of that heavy lifting.
man,
and he just
Cupid
wasn't
needs some
comparing to
love,
other
dude.
characters that had a similar number of abilities that deal damage. So that's step number 1. Let's talk about number 2, which is Heart Bomb. Mana cost going down, very simple. Not by a lot, but just enough so that you can feel it, not have to worry too much about making sure that your support or
They
whoever,
better
whatever
not-
lane,
they better
arena,
not nerf
assault
Coop.
Thanks, yeah.
is picking up your heart. Not a big deal for him in the early game, especially. Going to be very nice. But Flutter, this is
New
the big
effect
Fun one,
on
yeah.
cast,
Cool.
double
yeah,
the
so
attack
Flutter,
speed
when
gain.
you level up this ability, you get passive attack speed. But as many long tenured players will remember, Cupid once upon a time had that attack speed
After he dashed.
when he dashed. Yes, so after a dash. So now, instead of just getting a little bit of attack speed, you're going to get that doubled when you dash for the next 4 seconds.
Yep. So putting points in it, you get the passive attack
Ooh,
speed,
nice.
which already goes up to, is it 20%? Something like that? I
It's
can't
lower
remember
than
exactly.
20%, yeah.
Maybe it's like 15%. But now it doubles when you use that dash. So if you're dashing in, you're really committing to the team fight. You're getting that
Nice.
extra DPS. And
Ooh,
remember,
I
we
got
have
that
buffed
new
his-
build
his
for
auto attack
Cupid
damage
too.
as well. So
Ooh, it's gonna
again,
be
just
nice
a lot
with
more
this,
damage on
with
Cupid
these
when you commit
buffs.
to the team fight.
One thing that we've noticed with Cupid is that he tends to kind of jump in and out of the meta when we touch his ultimate specifically, because
Yes.
again, that ultimate very, very strong.
Yeah.
But we want to make sure that the base kit is feeling really potent as well, and it just was not up to our standards for the last couple of patches, so we're bumping him up.
Bumping him
Good.
up. Cool
Little bit.
stuff for Cupid. So
About
next up on
time.
the Hunter block, we have Don Zaburo, somebody recently on our minds from the party.
Yes, well, he is going to be partying quite a lot here, and honestly, he has been doing okay, but
Yeah, not
very,
bad.
very underpicked.
Yeah, very low in terms of popularity. So just even when he was
Yeah, I don't
picked,
see too
there
many of
there's
him
some
in
great
arena
Garza
these
Bar
days.
players that have a lot of success, but the average player wasn't having too much success with the god, and then the average player wasn't even picking the god too often. So just buffing him across the board is trying to solve this issue.
It's
Yeah,
because
just
there's
a
so
couple
many
of
other
small buffs
hunters. You know what I'm
across the board.
saying?
So first thing we're changing is Fool's Gold, which is getting increased damage. So that's just when you hit someone with the bag, and then also getting a slight amount of increased explosion damage. Moving on to Alluring Spirits, which is of course the taunt. It's getting increased healing because you're taking a long time to take this drink. You know, you want to make sure that you're feeling worth it to have to go all the way back and then throw
Long
it out.
animation, yeah.
Yep. Before it was just not healing enough to really feel worth it to be stuck in that animation for so long. So we're bumping the healing more so in the late game than
Dude,
in
that's
the
a
early
big
game.
bump.
And then we're also taking the cooldown down, not in the late game, but in the early game specifically. So a little bit more potential for you to get moving in the early game. Not so much in the late game, but it is going to be healing you for more in the late game. So you're not going to feel as bad about going for that drink. Finally, Uproarious Rocket. This is his ultimate. The explosion damage in the radius around the target that you hit or the wall or whatever you run into is now going to be taking 75% of the damage of the initial hit versus 50% previously. So it's going to feel
Wow.
a little bit more effective in an area versus so focused on the damage in the single target.
That's right. Instead of just like, if you're just picking off a backline, or if that backline is grouped with another one one of the backlines. Say the mage and the hunter are together, you're going to damage them both for quite a bit more now. So get in there
Wow.
with that bus or whatever it was, and drive into the hunter. You'll also hit the mage.
Just
for a good amount of
50% more
damage.
Yeah, I
damage.
would say,
It's
some would
good.
say it would feel like you're getting hit by a bus a little more now.
You could say that.
Yeah, you jumped right in there. So the next hunter in line is Apollo, our handsome musical man.
Yep. So Apollo is probably the most average on our list here,
Yeah,
where he
I
does
just played Apollo the
okay,
week
but
before
he's
last,
never
dude. It was
really
painful.
all that good in a lot of the matchups that he finds himself in. He just does okay basically everywhere, and that's fine for a lot of characters. But we want to kind of make sure that different characters are having their time in the sun, right? And so Apollo has been out of it for quite a long time. So
Yeah,
we're
he
bringing
sucks.
down the mana cost on So Beautiful from 70 to 90 to 60 to 80. So just a nice little touch there.
Yeah.
Serenade getting a decreased cooldown from 17 to 13 down to 15 to 13. So a nice 2 seconds in the early game to get a little bit more active. Mana cost also going down by 15, which is going to feel very nice, especially because you have to spend a lot of mana to go across the sky in your
yeah.
chariot. So you want to make sure that you have the mana for that. And then this is probably the biggest one on this
My
list,
favorite, yeah.
which is the moves. This is his dash. The buff duration of the movement speed that you gain is going up from 3 seconds to
Dude,
5
that's
seconds.
huge.
So more movement speed
That's-
for you.
that's really
your
good.
allies
And
too
your
if you
allies,
dash
yep.
through them.
That's right. Yeah, really. I just want to encourage Apollo players to be able to dash around their enemy, around their allies to share that movement speed. You can even dash through your wave and give your whole wave that movement speed for 5 seconds, so you can get your wave moving along, so you can siege your
Maybe
tower
something.
quicker. Yep. So I think this is a fun one. 5 seconds.
Dude, I
is
didn't
quite a
know
long
that
time for a good movement
worked
speed
on
increase.
minions. I
For
wonder if that
sure.
works on the
So-
big minion.
and I
Make
mean,
your big
several
minion
times We
faster.
talked about the importance of movement.
Make him
speed
get to the
as well.
enemy that
So now
much
we're kind of
quicker.
out of the hunter block and moving into a bit more of a mage block, I'd say,
Yeah.
starting with Baron.
Yeah, Baron is an interesting character because, again, he's just fine. If you want to play him tank, you can play him tank. If you want to play him mage, you can play him mage. But both of them, he just sits kind of in the middle, doesn't do either
Dude, that's a pretty
particularly
good buff.
amazing. So what we're doing is we're kind of putting him a little bit more in line in both of those areas at once. And it's not going too crazy in either direction, but one place that we're starting is his base health, which just was not comparable to other kind
Not
of
even
more
close. Yeah.
bruisery type characters like
Yeah.
Nox or Aphrodite or even Chang'e, the kind of characters that need to be in the middle of things, or the characters that do have some sustain, do have some safety, but not the most, right? Baron has a conditional movement speed increase, and he's got some CC, right? But just not the safest character really at all. So he's getting comparable health, not quite matching those other characters, but a little bit closer, which is going to help him out a lot.
That's right. Yeah, and as well, we
Dude, my
talked about
dog
how he
snoring is
can play
making me
multiple
tired.
play styles, and he does damage. He's tanky, has utility. We're buffing his damage just a little bit with Vivid Gaze. So when you hit that crossover point, it does that extra bit of damage. So 10% more than what it was before, instead of 15%, up to 25%. Actually, a decent chunk. If you're hitting all those archers, for example, will help you clear a lot. Or if you just hit a god, that's a good amount of poke.
Yeah, feeling pretty nice about that. And finally for Baron, this one's going to look a little bit weird, but we'll kind of break down why this looks the way that it does. So wrap it up. This ability is a slow to root, but essentially what we're doing here is we're decreasing the duration of the slow and increasing the duration of the root. So what that means is that they're spending less time slowed, that slow is ramping up faster, and then they're rooted for longer afterward, which is pretty important considering, especially since we changed the way that roots interact with DR
Yes.
over the past year. Baron doesn't super DR himself very well. You can
Often, yeah.
through the ultimate, but that doesn't happen too much. So this is just really important for your interaction with your own teammates as well. But it is going to help him have more consistent ability to be having that set up for himself or his teammates.
Yeah, so we're just putting more weight on the hard CC, taking away some from the soft CC.
Yep.
I think the root is really valuable, like Lermy said, for your allies as well. It can be kind of hard to hit a god when they're only CC'd for 0.75 of a second, but surprisingly 1 second makes it a lot easier. So just hitting that 1 second point for that root, and again, it can be DR'd if they've already been hard CC'd by something else, but yeah, just shifting some from the soft CC onto the hard CC, which is inherently stronger. So this is a buff.
Yes.
Yeah, overall, and I mean that combos really well with Vivid Gaze and trying to hit that cross
Exactly,
point,
yep.
or a lot of other things. So yeah, definitely a buff. So you're eating, Baron players. So continuing down the mage line, Poseidon, our boy from the water.
Yeah, Poseidon is a classic character, right?
Classic.
But he's just been kind of MIA.
Yes.
He has okay popularity because he's
On
just
the
a very
death screen all the
recognizable.
Dude, they gave him 5%
a
more.
very recognizable character, but again, yeah, like
attack
Rose said, he
speed
does die
late game. That's
quite a
pretty
lot.
good.
Yeah.
But we were thinking of some interesting, fun ways to give him a little bit of a buff. So what we're doing here is
Actually, it
we're
looks like they
increasing
gave
his
him
base attack speed to help him build up
5
some
across
of
the
that tide
board,
meter
huh?
from 0.87 to 0.95, still the same amount of scaling. But but we're also giving some extra attack speed to Trident.
Yes.
So a little bit more playing around that tide meter, getting it more often with your Trident as well.
That's
and your
pretty
basic
good.
attacks is going to feel really, really nice. Helps you keep that movement speed to get a little bit safer and be able to get that extra bit of damage off just a little bit more consistently. But that's not all. We've got more, folks.
That's
Up
not
next,
all.
we've got Whirlpool as well, which is, of course,
Holy
the
crap.
iconic 3. But this ability has kind of felt very lackluster, even with, Gem of Isolation coming a little bit back in.
timing
I've
change.
been
Bro,
seeing the
increase the
timing change with
damage
this as
scaling
well,
on
has made
this
it
center
a
hit
little
from
bit better.
45 to
Not
55.
too crazy,
so they
though.
increased
So
the
we're
damage
bringing
by
up
10%.
that tick damage scaling
pretty good.
from 15 to 20. And then, of course, the iconic, the amazing, the Kraken.
The Kraken.
He's being released a little bit stronger, but in the center. So
Yeah.
the more accurate you are with it, the more damage you're doing. Previously, it was identical between
Yep.
the center and the outside, but now the center is going to be doing a bit more damage, and you're getting the
On top
knockup.
of the stun. Yeah.
And you're getting the stun. It's going to feel real, real nice for those very accurate, skilled Poseidon players.
Yeah, so you've got your consistent damage from these attack speed buffs. Maybe you can even build some rings if you want with some of the new tier 2s
Yeah.
we've put in there. But then, again, you've got more. So when you hit your combo, get them stuck in your 3, a little bit more scaling from that. And you can really hit the center of your ult, then a lot more scaling. That's 55% extra damage right in the middle. It's a lot.
Yeah, it really is. So for those of you who are good at the whirlpool to center of ult combo, please stop. Scylla up next on our mage list.
Yeah, Scylla's another interesting character because she is very, very popular. People love Scylla, myself
great.
included. Don't get me wrong, I'm a Scylla enjoyer.
Oh, I know.
But when I see her win rate, oh my god, it makes me want to cry.
Yeah.
So, what we're doing here for Scylla is that we are decreasing the mana cost from Sikkim, which 100 mana for an ultimate. It's just kind of insane
was a lot.
in the current ages of Smite. So we're bringing it down on that regular ability from 60 to 100 to now 60 to 80. Crush as well is getting an increase, a very slight increase, 10% to minions in that damage as well. Going to help out with that clear, especially in the jungle. Going to feel very, very nice for in lane. And then finally, we've got a buff here to Sentinel, which is her 3, her escape. Which is getting a slight change here. And this may look a little bit strange because Scylla's passive kind of gives her unique
Whole theme, yeah.
unlocked effects when it comes to getting your ability ranked up. So you still do get the increased ward range from Sentinel when you rank it up to level 5, which is very nice, don't get me wrong. But the one thing that has felt very weird for those Scylla players is that you only go a little bit further when you rank it up, which has just felt very weird, very strange for the feels of this ability too. So we felt like we could safely move it up that 5 units for all ranks to really kind of unite that feeling and not have this very slight discrepancy between ranks 1 through 4 and rank 5.
I think this makes it a lot more intuitive as well because you let's say you just finished playing a Scylla game where you were level 20 for like 10 minutes and you're used to the walls that you can jump over because of that extra 5 units at rank 5, and then you get into a new game and like, oh, I can't jump over this wall anymore. It just wasn't intuitive. So now the distance is the same at all ranks, but yes, you still get the extra vision, which is a lot of vision at a rank 5.
Big range. And then of course we're also increasing the MP5 to help a little bit with their extra mana sustain in the early game.
That's
I
right.
didn't know that you
in
can
general she
you
had some
can
struggles in the early
go
game.
through walls
but
with
with that
that.
10% increased damage on minions, so that is including the jungle camps as well.
Yeah, I didn't know that
she
you
should
can
be able to clear a
teleport
little
through
bit better in the
walls
early
with
game,
that-
and
with
then
her
you'll
little
have
thing.
more mana to do that.
And it's
clearing
very
too.
important to note that a lot of these changes are not PvP oriented. We
Yes.
understand that she
already
is
strong PvP.
very good damage wise. That's not the goal of these changes. The goal is to make the actual experience of playing her just a little bit smoother, just a little bit more consistent across the board.
Yeah, just general overall polish. Nothing wrong with that. So Freya will be next on our list of mages getting a bit of tuning.
Yeah, so Freya, we did in patch 11.5, we did a couple buffs across the board to some of these
Items.
items for magical ADCs, but Freya was still the one that seemed to be lagging behind out of the rest.
Surprisingly, yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised it was Freya, but that's just how it is with her. So what we looked at was that her base health was lagging significantly behind even characters like Olorun, who has some built-in sustain. Freya does have a little bit as well, but it's more lifesteal versus direct healing, which does take a little bit of extra steps, you might say, for the Freya player. So we are just bringing her a little bit closer in line from 567 base to 610. That's not addressing the scaling at all because that's not changing. And then the only other thing that we're changing here is the banish cooldown from 19 to 15 to 16 to 14. So a lot off at the top, but only a
Early
little bit
game,
off
dude,
at the
that's
bottom.
huge.
Yeah, generally a
3
pretty hard to hit
seconds
ability
early
if you
game
use
is
a Freya
just
as well,
ridiculous.
so
That's
having more
a
chances
big
to hit it
buff,
was really
dude. That's a
important,
huge
and
buff.
I just want to encourage people to actually try to use that ability whenever possible because your teammate can capitalize on it very very easily. But when it's a 19-second cooldown, you're like, oh, I have to wait for the perfect moment. Otherwise, if I miss it, it's on a cooldown for 19 seconds. So 16 helping quite a bit. Obviously, it was down to 15 in the late game before, which is already
that's
pretty good. We need to
gigantic,
buff it just a little bit. So 16 to 14, not much of a difference late game, but in the early game, you really feel that.
Yeah, I mean, when you're comparing it to other mage abilities that sit up at that 19 seconds, like the next closest one is like Merlin Flicker.
Yeah.
This ability is not like comparable in that same way. So it needed to come down quite a bit. Just a lot of extra setup for herself, safety, which is going to feel really nice. But again, Freya, another character that we understand has very, very sensitive damage ratios, so we don't want to mess with those. We feel like those are fine. It's really just the safety and the utility of this character that need a little bit of help.
Yeah,
Hold on. Yep.
a nice healthy buff without making her hyper threatening. So last but not least, in the mage circle, we have Hell.
Yes, so this is another character that is very sensitive to those kind of changes.
Oh, yeah.
One thing that we noticed is that when we changed healing last year, this was around, I want to say 10.3, 10.4 or so around that time period, the healers were very, very strong. And then we kind of took them back a little bit, got them more in line, but that heal remained very,
That's,
very low ever since.
It did.
That's a
And
pretty
one thing that we
good
have
jump
noticed
there
from
on
our
their
healing
heals.
players, there are a lot of players that really like to specialize in these healing characters
Support style,
and have this like support style mage,
7
is that
to
healing
10,
has just kind of felt very
9 to
low
12.
for these characters, and that identity that they really, really enjoy is kind of missing.
That's right.
So we want to be very careful with this adjustment, of course, because healing, again, is very, very strong when used in these kind of, methods. So again, it's
New
still
effect also
lower
grants
than it was
10,
previously, but it's
15,
getting
20,
a nice
25, 30
bump
physical
in
power
the
to
direction that
allies.
we are, hoping that will be a
When you
little bit more
switch
identifiable for players. So it's getting a bump in the base of the heal and also the per level, very, very small bump per level, but it will, you'll feel it
It'll
over
matter.
time.
Yep.
And then the self heal is also going up as well.
Cool.
Yeah, and actually I want to touch on something for increased healing because there's a couple others in this patch
Yeah.
as well. Just keep in mind that we're making some anti-heal items more viable in the early game with
Yep,
a couple
exactly.
tier 2 items that have anti-heal on them as well. So there'll be more, but yeah, we can move on to switch stances now. So before, Hell had to be, this kind of could be this kind of support pick, but you'd have to be within 30 units of your allies, which
It's
is
less
actually
than a
really
basic
close.
attack.
Yeah,
Yeah, very,
that's
very
a
close.
pretty
55 is your average basic attack, so just for reference. So we're changing it to 55. So if you're within a basic attack range of your allies, they'll now get that effect of that. I think it's protections of power.
Yeah.
And then now, well, previously physical gods were not getting any of that power. It was just magical power. So we're adding physical power. Obviously, Hell doesn't get the physical power herself. She wouldn't use it for anything anyway. But the allied gods around you will get that physical power. So
Yep.
you can, when you're playing with your hunter in the duel lane, they'll actually feel something rather than them getting this, what was kind of useless magical power.
Yeah. Really cool. Cool changes and helping diversify.
Well, and you don't
the
have to
aid
be
you can offer to your
inside the
team.
danger
Yeah.
zone
So
either.
we're moving out
55
of the
units,
mage sphere
radius,
now
you can
and
like
into a
be,
sharper and more dangerous
at
sphere,
a halfback
assassins. Well, maybe not more
from your
dangerous, but definitely
forwards. You know what I'm
sharper.
saying?
So we have assassins here and we have Fenrir.
So
up
that's not
first.
so bad. So she
Fenrir
doesn't get
is again another
CC.
kind of character that's fallen off a little bit, but he's been doing great. It's Smite 2, by all
Yes.
means. We've
Yeah.
been seeing a lot of
He
awesome
has
Fenrir
been.
play there. We
Fenrir's
want to
been
make
great.
sure though that he's keeping up in
Brutalized
Smite
now
1.
deals 75%
And
of
he
the
didn't really
damage
need a
and
whole lot,
AoE.
right? Just a
Holy
little bit of a
crap,
bump to
that's
kind of get
huge.
him moving in the right direction. And so what we're doing here is we're increasing the AoE damage of Brutalize to 75%. So if you're in a big group of people, usually it's really scary to cast Brutalize because, you do get a bit of protections from this, but you are locked into this animation. You are moving
You're in.
by the enemy's accord to a certain extent. So
Yeah.
to be able to say kind of, this is my zone, if you want to be in the zone, fine, but you're going to take a little bit extra damage if you sit in the AoE. Also really nice for clearing as well, which
Yeah,
is going to
especially
be
waves.
great.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
this
very
is kind of a note out of Smite 2's book. I think in Smite 2 it's 100% of the damage, so we're not quite there, of course. Obviously, he's very strong in Smite 2, and Smite 2 has all different items as well, so balance is entirely different. But this, just 75% of the damage in the AoE, just a small bump from what it was before. So you can,
Interesting.
if you wanted to play him in solo lane, it didn't really matter, or now it won't matter as much what minion you're using a 3 on, you'll still clear pretty much everything around it for that 75% damage.
Yeah, sounds good. So next up, the jump scare goddess of Smite,
Yes.
Kalina.
Yes, Kalina. So she's a very interesting character because there are times where she is incredibly popular and does okay, but she is still kind of maintaining the popularity. It's gone down a little bit. We've seen it trending down, especially after the lifesteal changes at the beginning of the year. We're expecting to see her a little bit more after that, but she's fallen off quite a bit.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is give
I
her
think I've
a
seen
little
her
bit of
the
extra
last
damage
stream
for
we
those
did. I think
characters
somebody
that build
played her.
into the damage stance, but also something more fun
I
for the
don't see her
Kalina
too
players
much
is
in
being
arena.
able to hop in and out of those walls a little bit more. So it's going to feel pretty nice to be able to get in there 1 second sooner.
Yeah, we just kind of wanted, we saw the downtrend in players picking cleaner and playing cleaner, so we just want to give them a little bit more so they can, if they're feeling on the weaker side now, they're just bumped up a little bit. She wasn't performing too poorly, but her play rate was trending down and her win rate was trending down as well. So just trying to reverse that a little bit. We'll keep an eye on it for sure, but these are, for now, very small buffs.
Yes, and specifically for Banshee's Wail here, this is not the final scream. This is the like pre-screams
The
before the
ticks,
silence.
yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. The pre-screams. So. All right, awesome. So that was Assassins. Now we're going into my personal favorite area for any of the gods. And that's Guardian territory, starting with Ardeo, the lady bear.
Yeah, Ardeo is a very interesting character because
better be
she
getting
is
nerfed.
another character that got affected pretty badly by the attack speed reduction
Like
of the
hell.
back camps.
Yeah.
Made
Holy-
it really, really difficult
what?
for her
Sure.
to get through the early game. And she's kind of a character that you would expect to do pretty decently there.
Increase
because she's a
heal
stance
from
switcher, has
100 to
access all these
200?
abilities, but really, it's kind of her utility and ability to keep up in damage that has kind of fallen off a bit.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, and the healing especially too. We were talking
Wow.
about hell. We did something for Terror in a previous patch. These gods ever since, I think you said it was 10.3. Might
Wow,
have
that's a
been 10.4.
big
I don't
freaking
remember,
buff,
but yeah.
dude. They doubled
Early
it.
last year, so it's been over a full year. We're in 11.6 now for this patch, where these gods' healing has been pretty low on the lower side, and there was reason for it, but as well, I know
Dude,
that
she's already
the
a
healing
pain in the
before
butt
that
just
patch
to
was
kill,
a little
dude.
bit out
She's
of
like,
control, but with
that
introducing
cripple
these
is
tier
just
2
so
items,
freaking
we feel
annoying.
it's safe to bring this healing back up. So Energy Surge, which is your druid version of more prey, which is your 1 ability, will now heal double the amount that it was healing before in the late game. So going from 40 to 100 to 40 to 200. Remember, you can hit up to 3 targets with this.
Yeah.
So if you have this at max rank, you hit max amount of targets. So 3 targets, that's 600 heal for yourself and all of your allies. That's
It
a lot
is
of
really
healing.
hard
Yeah.
to do that, though.
Really
That
It
is,
is, yeah.
I'll be very impressed.
Yeah, so I would like to see people
That's
be able
not
to do it,
hard
but in general,
arena.
you're hitting 1, maybe 2 targets if you're hitting
you're
some
lucky.
frontliners. Yeah, but generally it's just 1. It's a small little cone, so you're getting this 200 heal instead of 300.
Dude,
sorry,
you're gonna
instead
see
of
so
100,
many freaking
and more
RTLs.
often as well. The cooldown going
You're gonna
down
see her a
from 12
lot more
seconds. We're
for
doing that for the
sure.
same,
She's
but
a
more
pain in the
prey,
butt,
which is
dude. I
just
hate
the bear
RTL.
version as well.
Yep.
So both will have the same
Playing against
cooldown,
her
but the
anyway.
healing is increased on Energy Surge.
Yep. And then over to our next slide of RDO changes, we're going to life tap. This is the 3, but the druid version. So this is also the heal per hit of life tap is going up as well. She's going to get a little bit more sustained from this. I mean, 6 per tick in the early game is kind of like not even
and
one
Baroness.
archer swing. So it's going to feel a little bit more significant there. And really not that much more towards the top end, but this is per tick as well. So it's going to add up over those ticks. But again, you got to be hitting things for
That's
this
right.
to actually
Yeah.
give you healing, which is always the hard part. She's also getting just a little bit of increased damage scaling per hit, which is going to help. And then the mana cost is going to be kind of sitting at a more reasonable spot for her, especially because she is a character that swaps
Ability
between
spams,
stances
yeah.
a lot, spams a lot, is going to be needing that a little bit of a decrease on the mana cost there.
Yep, and then for Heavy Charge, which is same ability, just different form for the bear form, increasing the damage the same way we did for Life Tap as well, and the mana cost too. So just you should be able to actually dash and use your 3 whenever you want. Maybe you buy Restored Artifact that tier
Now
2.
you better
spam those
nerf her
abilities, get that
freaking
1%
cripple.
mana
Yeah.
back every time, and you continue to just keep fighting as the Guardian Druid in the solo lane.
Yeah, lots of options now, especially for a character like this that has a lot of abilities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ardeo's always been fun anyway, and also always fun like that. Kind of like a jump scare, kind of like Cleano, where you're like, oh, they're clearing their blue camp. Let's turn into a bear and charge them from behind. So you're innocently clearing blue, and all you hear is an actual bear running at you from like right behind. It's a great time, honestly. It's great mental strats. So moving forward, we have Sylvanas, the tree.
Yeah, so this is just a small adjustment to
Yeah.
Sylvanas. We've got more later that we'll get into.
Oh.
But before then, we got to talk about his base stats. So,
Okay.
as a character that's relatively immobile, he has
That's
got some
cool.
solid
Sylvanas
self-healing. He's
needed a
got
little
some
bit of love.
healing, but he just is a tree. He can't really go very fast,
Yeah.
very, very quickly. So
Shuffling along.
he needs to be a little bit of extra, tanky to be able to deal with a lot of the people that run at him and want to chop him down. Listen, don't touch Garber like that, all right? He wants to grow strong and flourish, not get chopped down and turn into
He's
firewood.
called
That's messed up.
Grover, not chop down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just felt that he was kind of weak. Obviously, as immobile as he is, he was pretty easy to pick off, even with his self-peel. So bringing the health scaling up, just 5 per level, that's not a much in the end, but it will help based on top of the base physical protections will help too, and then the physical protections per level, another 0.5 per level. So just in general, being tanky, especially the physical damage in the later game.
Yeah, all sounds good. And now we are finally shifting from Guardians to the last of our areas, those solo lane lovers, the warriors, Amaterasus to start.
Yeah, you would have thought
You would
over the
think,
past
yeah.
meta or so, that
Equinox,
with
perhaps?
Equinox being really good, Amaterasu
Dude, she
is
did
basically
not
the
need
character.
to be freaking
But she
buff. Are
was
you
not that- She was
crazy?
not present. And even
No.
though her popularity did go up, it quickly fell off when Equinox got nerfed. And then it went back to being basically very low.
Very little,
low.
yeah,
So we wanted to make sure that she was able to keep up with the rest of the characters, keep up with this new itemization especially. So what we are doing here for Ama is increasing her basic attack power per level from 2 to 2.2. So she's going to scale a significant amount closer to the late game. Divine Presence is getting an increased heal per tick by 5 at the early game and then going up to 55 at the late game. Glorious Charge, which is her 3, is going to get a mana decrease to
Very
60
expensive before. Yeah.
metal rings. Yeah, for a dash being at 90 is very, very expensive. And then finally, the piece de resistance. Dazzling Offensive, the ultimate, going down to a 70-second cooldown at max rank, which is very, very low. That's like Vulcan, that's like raw levels. Like, I don't know if there's a warrior that has an ultimate this low cooldown.
I mean, I think it's fun. Yeah, just get in there, use your ultimate as
Dude,
much as possible,
that's
force those
such
enemy cooldowns.
BS.
You kind of
That freaking
disengage,
stun
heal
lasts
yourself up, and when they don't have their
forever.
cooldowns up, yours is only on 70-second cooldown. You know, their
Dude.
beads are much longer than that.
Like, we don't
or
have
their
enough CC in
defensive
arena,
ultimate is
right?
much longer than that, so you can go back in and use your ultimate again before there's a backup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exciting stuff.
Exciting stuff. I'm sure AJ's excited for sure. All right, so last but not least, in this particular list, we have Horus getting a little tweakage as well.
Yeah,
That's
so
good.
again, Horus is another character that is more of your supportive warrior, can be played over in the solo lane. A little bit more difficult too, but definitely can. The first thing that we're doing is increasing the buff duration of Protector Surge. So this is the protections
yep.
that you get when Horus hops to you, not the healing. Nothing to do with the healing
Yeah,
for
not the
him.
healing.
But it's going to be nice to be able to hang on to those protections for a little bit longer. But the fun buff here is To the Skies, going down in cooldown from 100 seconds to 90 seconds.
Get up there and fly the team around more
A
often.
lot of times, especially for the
Drop 'em in.
newer Horus players or non-conquest Horus players, this ultimate is really hard to find a good time to use.
Yeah.
So just giving more opportunities to go and up down, or maybe pull your whole team into the enemy base and
Maybe.
arena. That could be
Fountain,
kind of fun. Things like that. Definitely don't do that, but
Just
Yeah,
once,
you
just all
could.
once. You get one.
maybe if you're winning by 100 tickets,
Yeah,
something like that.
It's a power play. So if you're five
they're your
stacking,
friends,
yeah.
yeah.
If you're 5 stacking and you want to burn 100 tickets, like go for it. Live your life. So all right, well, cool. So that does it for the regular balance. We have a few more things to cover, though. Some interesting things in what we can call the quality of life section.
Yeah.
So some neat changes here, and I guess we'll dive right in with Bakasura.
Yeah, Bakasura is getting kind of a smaller quality of life change
Yeah.
here, but it's going to feel nice
a good leap.
regardless. Regurgitate is his ultimate. It's going to be seeing an increased projectile speed by about 15%. It's kind of hard to say because we don't, typically share projectile speeds externally, but just know it's going to go out a little bit faster wherever you shoot it to. It'll land there a lot more succinctly, so you're not being able to, shoot it out and then miss the cripple, essentially. It's going to
That's
feel
right. In
a
the
lot
solo,
more
yeah.
easier to confirm in that regard. So yeah, that's essentially it for Bakasura. Just a small change, make that a little bit more consistent, especially when you're throwing it further away, because again, it is a projectile. It has to travel the distance, so the further you throw it, the longer it's going to take to get there.
Yeah, it helps make a more reliable impact on the target you were attempting to regurgitate
Yep, the
on.
further that you throw it, I
so
do
moving
believe it's going to
forward,
take
you
longer to
won't.
get there.
Yes, this is a very, very cool change. I'm very excited about this one. So Yu Huang, ever since there was his release, he has been known to have one of the most difficult ultimates to hit in the game, if not
It is a trouble
maybe
maker.
number one. It's very hard to say, right?
Very
But
much a
when it comes to the difficulty of it. And so we're trying to just make the general experience of
They need to
firing
increase
this
the
ability feel a
projectile
lot
speed of
better.
handler.
It's hard to really break down the numbers here just because there's so many
Bro.
steps into this ultimate when it comes to spawning the dragons, firing them, the dragons fire, the explosion happens. There's a lot that goes into it. So I'm not going to break down the specific numbers for you here. The only thing that I will say is the dragon projectile. So when you actually shoot them, they go faster. But
Yeah,
there
I
have
can't
been
even
other
remember the last
changes
time
to
I
his
played,
pre-fires, his post-fires,
Yuhong.
going in and out of the ability especially.
Right.
It feels
He really
way,
needed
way
it.
nicer now. So hopefully that is going to feel a lot better. There's going to be a lot less delay for you Huang players that are very used to that experience. It's going to be feeling so much smoother now.
Yeah, we saw a lot of good feedback from those Caribbean
Yeah, his
players of
kit
last
really
patch
didn't
when they
fit
got
my
the
play
the
style,
same
so I
kind of
don't really-
changes reworked
I haven't
ultimate
played
to
that
make
dude
it
since he
feel
came out.
a
I did,
lot
I think,
more,
one video
smooth,
on him,
really,
maybe
is the best way
two
to describe
tops.
it. So we wanted to do the same thing for Yu Huang because he also had this element of clunkiness, and this will hopefully just make it a lot
Yeah,
more
he's
intuitive to
definitely
use, a
felt
lot more
clunky.
smooth to use, and make it easier to hit those targets.
Yeah, what a crazy thing to say just conceptually. Like, as somebody who's never watched or commanded two dragons to fly at each other in an explosive path, being able to sit down and say, it just doesn't feel quite right. Like, it's weird how I don't know where you get that opinion from, but you definitely know it. And when you're able to clean it up and you're like, now that's what 2 dragons flying headlong on a collision course should feel like.
That's right.
Like crazy that it's some invisible target that you've been able to just like find. Like,
Yes, it
props
took
to y'all.
a lot of finagling
Yeah.
for sure, but
Props to
when we
y'all.
got there, it definitely feels a lot better. As someone who plays a lot of Yu Huang, we had some other testers come in and try it as well, and the change is small, right? It's not going to be this extreme overnight. This becomes the
it's not a
easiest
brand new
ability
ultimate,
to
yeah,
hit in the
yeah.
game, but it still will be challenging. But it will feel a lot more responsive, and that's what matters to us.
awesome. Well, good stuff. So next up, y'all might have seen a teaser for this one floating in the Twitter sphere, but we have
Kali.
getting a bit of
Yes, yes.
Fun.
That's exciting, yeah.
This is an exciting set of changes. So, Kali,
That's a lot.
Kali, where to begin?
Kali.
We can begin. Let's compare. Let's talk about
Because you
Achilles'
can now
passive, just
reselect
real
her
quick, because
target
that'll
while
matter
in
this for this
base.
And we're
comparison
gonna
sake.
dive in game for Kali.
Yeah, we can
as
show it
well.
off in
Which
Sure, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
help us.
It's
GM
good.
can
I'll
pull it up.
preface that we can try, but right now they're currently getting the servers up for PTS.
That's
right.
So while in my reset we're unable to, unless there's like anything on the dev we need to avoid, maybe I can jump onto the dev jump and jungle practice.
Maybe we'll see. I can talk through it for now anyway. So
They
nerfed
no big
her
deal, but
physical
yes, this is the
penetration
middle of
from
the
by
workday. We're doing
50%.
active
That's
work on the
true.
game.
There are literally people
that's how it
working the
works.
game
Yep.
right now.
Sometimes that happens.
But yeah, so
And then to
first of all, just think
decrease
of Achilles' passive. Where you can go into base,
kill
click to change
assist
your
gold
armor
bonus by a
whenever you
third.
want
Very
between
easy.
your offensive or your defensive choice. Now Kali will be able to go into her fountain, and at any point she can left click, just like Achilles can left click, and she'll be able to choose her target at any point. So we're trying to solve this issue of how Kali would be maybe stuck with, oh, I don't, the support is my target. I'm never going to kill the support, at least not for the next 10 minutes,
Yeah.
and therefore my passive is basically useless. We wanted to avoid that. So now you can go into the base and choose your target at any point. Obviously, that means you're going to have your target on the god you probably most want it to be on almost all the time, especially with the second change we're going to make here. So we did have to bring the passive down.
Yep.
There's a lot of text here. I'm not going to read it all out for you, but we have nerfed the passive accordingly based on how easy it should be to target the correct target.
Yes.
And you can take away the nimble strike change if you want, because
Yeah.
again, that'll be to do with your targeting.
I mean, another thing to kind of touch on here with Marked for Death is that you're still getting this very extreme heal, right? The heal
Yeah,
is kind of the big focus here. You get a slight advantage when it comes to killing the target, and you get a slight bonus when you do kill the target. But really, the weight that we want is the more visceral feeling of, I got this huge heal.
Yes,
versus
yeah.
I have this inherent advantage versus this target that I have all the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's talk about Nimble Strike, because this
too.
is getting two kind of levels of change, where the first effect is a brand new effect, where when Kali leaps on an enemy god, the lowest current health god that you've hit is marked automatically.
Yes. So you can choose your target by jumping on top of them, just saying, really, like, I choose you, I'm
Yeah,
going
like,
all
you're
in,
the
I'm
one.
taking you as my target, because you want to fully commit to that target, because if
Yeah.
you kill them, you obviously get the passive proc and everything like that. And Lerma, you actually posted a video on Twitter,
Yes,
right?
we
So
did spoil this one on Monday. So.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we can check that out.
take a
then.
look.
Yeah.
That'll just display on how this ability works. So you can see, there you go, switch to Yu Huang as a target, you
the
still get the
mark.
heal, and now they're marked as an enemy, and then we can go into base. Depending on the skin you'll have different FX.
Yeah.
Do a little left click there, and then boom, choose your target that now is Atlas.
Yeah.
Yep.
So again, you can see
Well-
X-Bow was a target, now it's Yu Huang,
Long.
and we can change it to Atlas.
Oh, so it
Full control over
automatically
your passive
changes.
now.
So you can
Yep.
change
And
it
believe
yourself,
me, when
and then
I
that
tell
leap
you,
you can
this
use it
feels
to change.
very, very nice
Yeah.
to be able to have this
Interesting.
level of control as well.
Yeah.
And I understand the concern as well that people have brought up, where like, oh, what if I get the target that I don't really want? Like I'm hitting multiple gods at the same time. Typically, when this has happened in our playtest, we've actually been very happy with how it's felt,
Yeah.
because the target that has the lowest health is
That's-
not usually going to be the guardians or the tanky people,
Right.
even if they're really grouped up next to each other. They just have more
Oh,
health
so it
than squishy
automatically
people. So if you're
selects
jumping
the
on
person
the
that has the
packline, or you're
least
jumping
amount
on
of health.
the jungler,
That's what they're saying.
and you
That's
happen to also
pretty.
hit a tank, you're still
pretty OP.
probably going to mark the person you wanted to hit anyway.
Yeah.
That's right, yeah. And generally, the person that is the lowest health, even in situations where it's, 2 hunters or whatever it may be.
And you
two
got to think
similar
about it, dude.
characters,
Once you
the one
leap
that's
in and
lower
get that
health is the
kill,
one you're
most
gonna
of the
be
time
going
you're going to
for
end up
anyway, right?
backing
'Cause
anyway.
they're
So
soon
then
as
you
they're
just
dying,
select the
soon as
other
they're
god
getting
you're
a
looking
proc
at
passive.
getting
And
before.
so it's
you know
very
what I'm saying?
intuitive that way. So
It's
even
not
if
a
you
big deal.
accidentally hit 2 targets, generally you want the one that's
pretty
low health.
OP,
That's the one your
actually.
passive's going to go to. That's the one you chase after. Get some extra bonuses for killing them, and then just perfectly in line with what Kali wants to do in terms of just choosing a target, gunning that one singular target down.
Yeah.
Then once they're dead, you switch to a different target and keep going.
And what almost helpful in a way too, because like you said, if you're looking at 2 health bars side by side, the guardian health bar could look like it's a quarter full and the hunter
Yeah.
half
Yeah.
full, but the guardian still has more life. Guardians are just built thick.
Yeah, this is not percentage health. This
Yeah.
is actual what is the number.
What is the
Yep.
number? So if you jump on that, especially if you're a learning player too.
Yeah,
you could be
these
like,
effects
oh,
won't
like,
take
I jumped in. That
effect
guy's health bar looks
until
lower, but
Tuesday,
it lit up that guy.
unless you
I'm
go
gonna
on
fight that guy
PTS,
'cause, like,
which
I know
nobody
that's
plays
the
on
lowest health
PTS,
person
so.
in the area. So it's
you don't have to worry about these changes until
until
Tuesday.
because you can dive in
Yeah.
and get the idea of, oh,
I should be hitting this
yeah,
guy.
passive says that's the one to go for. Let's go.
Yep,
So,
exactly.
Really cool. So
Yeah.
yeah, lots of big changes for Kali.
One more effect, though, that we got to talk about is
Yeah.
that a Nimble Strike has a heal on it. But one very interesting quirk about Kali, I guess you could call it interesting, maybe we'll call it a little unhelpful in some circumstances,
Okay.
is that to heal at all with Kali's Nimble Strike, they needed to be missing health. So if you wanted to, let's say, leap over a wall and start a camp with
Yeah.
your jump, you're not healing with that. And if you wanted to get a heal from a camp, you'd have to end with your jump, which just doesn't feel very good, I
Yeah.
would say. As a character, it just doesn't make much sense. That many other characters don't do it that way. They will start with it,
Dude,
or
this
they will
update show's
start
been
going to
dragging
another
on,
camp
son.
with that ability. And with Kali, we're missing out on this really big part of the ability
Yep.
that you just were not getting. So what we've done is we've lowered the percent missing health that you get. You still have that missing health component, so it still has that unique factor of, yes, you can still do this. If it's in your muscle memory, you'll still get some extra healing from that. But now it has a flat heal as well, so you'll be able to not feel so bad about starting with your jump.
That's right, and you can jump on multiple targets as well. You group these jungle buffs up, group a full
Yeah,
wave
you only
up,
ever get one.
and then you just get, it would be 100 heal plus 10% of the whatever the highest target's health is. You could even jump on a fire giant. If you get the killing blow on a fire giant with your Kali jump,
That's a big
yeah.
heal.
that's a big heal, right? So even with the 10%, you still get that big heal. But if they're low health, if they're full health and they've only taken the damage from your jump, you get a small, 10% of what your jump did plus the flat value depending on the rank of your ability.
Exactly.
Good stuff.
Heck, we
all
played a
around.
bunch of games
Lots of
yesterday.
Cool Kali changes.
the
Lots to
stream.
feel out. So make sure y'all let us know how you feel about that, because
They weren't very good
Lots of
though.
cool
I mean, we had a
stuff. And
couple
J-Mac,
good games,
were
but there
you
was
able
just
to
too
get the
much
game sorted?
CC.
Yeah, I jumped
and
into the
I had a
dev
bad
jungle practice
day
at the moment,
yesterday.
so we
I
kind
couldn't
of show
hit
off
crap.
the
Please do.
double
I was
target
playing like a
jump.
day one
Yeah, let's
newbie.
take a look.
Yep. Well, you're full health now, so you won't be able to heal, but you will be able to. You can see the health values.
Yeah, I
on
really
both
don't
of
like
them.
that
Oh, and there's our
skin.
targeter too.
There's a lot of votes.
There's a
It
lot of
looks
Odins in that
horrible.
map. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you can
let's
see.
pick a random Odin.
Yep.
Oh,
Yeah.
yep. And we're switching around, which is nice. And then if we jump, a ba-boom.
Well-
Well, it killed Raw and then swapped to Shock.
But there you go. So even if you kill a target,
Yeah,
you'll
it'll-
choose the
it'll
target
mark
that's
the
still
next
alive.
lowest target. That's
Yep.
actually a cool additional thing to have shown off there.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you can see actually because you're on the ceramic skin here, if you go towards the base without clicking, you can see you get the themed click or the themed
Yes.
FX around your character.
And the other important thing to note is that you can right-click this targeter just like you can right-click Achilles, and then you can go back to basic attacking in base if you want to.
If someone's diving your Phoenix and you need to basic attack them, yeah, you just right click away
It's
that
luckily
targeter and
we
you can
welcome
attack
along
whoever's
newbies,
in
right?
the mountain for some
It's like
reason.
an- I
Or
can-
if you're
I
really
can-
talented, you quickly
One
switch
of
your
us,
target to
one of
whoever's in
us.
the
Oh,
And then,
quick
you know,
swap. Yeah, yeah.
Take them out while they're there, Easy
Beautiful.
picking. So, and yeah, there it is marking Raw.
Yep, perfect.
Really cool.
Yep. And of course, you get the proper indication from the enemy side as well that they've been marked. So everyone should be fully aware of who is the target in that situation.
Who is in imminent mortal danger.
You know, I still think
Or
in
immortal
jungle
danger,
training like
I
that,
guess.
when you hit a god,
Regardless.
that
So
it should
cool,
show
yeah,
above
a
their
lot of changes there. Like, a
either
lot of
under
really
their
depth events.
health bar.
All very
what,
I guess, quality of life
debuffs
is
you
the best
put
way to
on them.
it.
Yeah.
As
That way it
percentage
helps
would
you
entail.
to
Certainly a
see
buff,
if
but just
certain
a buff
buffs
in the way that
affect
the
certain
character just
gods.
feels better. It's intuitive.
Because that's what I
It
hate,
makes
dude. A lot of
sense
times
with
I'm
the
like,
way
is
that
the gem of
character plays.
isolation working or
And
not?
because it
You
is
know
a
what I'm
buff,
saying?
yeah, we nerf the passive.
I wish it would show
Yeah,
like the little
exactly.
icon
you
like
said,
that. I
it
think
gives
that
you
would be
better
so
control
awesome.
of a mechanic that is native to that character anyway. So
Yep,
overall,
exactly.
it just feels good. Well,
Yeah.
good stuff. So continuing forward, we have one of the goodest boys of the battleground.
Oh, boy.
Cerberus.
Hell,
This is
World of
fun.
Warcraft can do it.
We
Why
can
can't
also
these guys,
probably
right?
go in
With the
game for this
whole
one
boy.
too if you want, J-Mac. But yeah, let's start. So Soul Expulsion. Cerberus overall can sometimes feel a little bit clunky. You know, he's a good boy, but he does things a little bit slow. He's a big,
He a thick
hulking,
boy, yeah.
massive of
Donkey
dog.
boy.
So yeah, we wanted to make sure that Soul Expulsion was feeling nice because this jump is a little bit long to get out of when it comes to the post fire, and even getting up in the air. Sometimes you can feel like you're getting pulled out of it. So we wanted to kind of improve that experience. And again, not going into specifics here because the numbers are just really, really small. Number one, and number two, there's not a lot of context on this that will make a lot of sense to you guys at home. So just trust me on this one. Go try it out in jungle practice. You will feel the difference. And then finally, Stygian Torment. This is a huge change.
It's crazy.
Cerberus is no longer crippled or slowed while using this ability.
Oh.
Which means, J-Mac, if we are prepared in game, show us what it means.
Well,
Let's try again.
Now
Ricky.
means-
Yeah.
You're not slowed at
And
all.
then-
Yes.
No slow.
And
And
then
then finally, one more thing you can do is
ult them
Hurry up.
first, and then jump
And then
while
jump.
you're holding them.
Oh,
So you can actually ult them really far away. So
Oh.
if you
yeah.
ult them on the edge of your ult, and then face the other way, and just jump as far away as possible.
yeah.
You'll take them with you that whole distance.
Man.
You are bringing them.
There you go.
Oh,
Yup.
dude, you know how many?
So I think we measured it
So
because Cerberus is kind of
I
like
wonder
a
if you can
god.
do that
You
and jump
can
through a
ult someone
wall.
from
Would
basically
bring
the
them
totem
into
to your
your
power line.
base.
They won't
That
fly
would
over
be
the wall.
freaking
So they won't go
hilarious.
over the wall with you. They'll just impact the wall. We should add damage in a
Oh,
style.
they just impact the wall. They
I
won't go
already
through the
know,
wall.
yeah.
You
Now
just
we're
said
good.
it.
Oh my god, so violent.
But
I was
yeah,
gonna
so
say,
you
that
can
would've
take
been
them quite a
nasty.
distance. So if you're up against a Cerberus in this whole lane, you're safe around the totem area. But if you
Yeah.
go a little bit too far, that you're at risk of getting hit by that ultimate.
Either way,
and
you
then
can
to
still
jump
do it
all
and
the
bring them
way
into your base. So that's pretty cool.
into their tower line like that. So pretty cool.
Yeah.
The arena implications of this. Like,
You are
Yeah.
pulling very far now.
yeah,
but it
I
is.
am going to jump people into Fountain on Arena as often
Yeah.
as possible. Like,
What's
That's the
even
first thing
cooler
that
about
jumped
this
to my
too is
mind,
we
too.
recently did a change to Cerberus to give him cooldown reduction on soul expulsion when you kill the souls of gods. So you can jump on them as they're getting pulled, drop all their souls, your teammates kill the souls while they're also killing the guys.
Yeah.
And then your jumps back up again, baby. You go one more time. It's awesome.
that is awesome. Oh man, what a fun change. I love that. Guardian.
Dude,
changes
I
just
love
light me
any
up, so
buffs they
good
do
stuff.
to
Thank you
Cerberus,
for
dude.
showing us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
just
awesome.
good stuff.
Cerberus is one of
all
my
right,
favorite
so you know
guns.
I'm always happy to see this. Atlas up next.
Oh yeah.
What's my boy Atlas get?
This is a fun one.
Some rings, I guess.
So in the last patch, we had a couple gods like Jormungandr, Fafnir, Bake Kujira that
Yeah.
were able to get item procs on their basic attacks.
Atlas
Atlas was not included in that
enhanced-
list because he required a
attacks
little
not
bit of
proc.
extra help just due to the way that his basics are set up for his Unburden. And now Atlas's Astrolabe basic attacks, when he has it deployed, can
Yeah.
proc basic attack item effects. Yeah, we did it, guys. Atlas is here.
I'm looking over at JMac's screen now, and he might have a little sneak.
A
for us.
demonstration.
Yeah, he's
Really?
already
A bunch
strong
of
for
items.
sure.
Yeah, look at those procs.
You can throw that
What?
on a wave on some gods. You get a bunch of auto attack procs right there. That's
You know,
What?
maybe not the best Atlas build, but it sure is fun.
It is
Yeah.
fun.
It's,
yeah.
it attacks fast. That's what matters.
That's what matters.
Indeed, and it costs mana, so keep that in mind too.
Nah, that's not
Don't worry
important.
about that.
So yeah,
What?
That's so fun.
there you go.
All right, well, I'm happy.
Oh, dude, that
we
is
could in the
so
show there, but we're not.
OP.
'cause we still have some stuff to talk about. So, all right. So moving now, this is less of a individual god thing, and
So
more
that
of a
means you'll be able to
happening across the
proc
board type
Divine
thing. So,
Ruin and
ability item
freaking
effects, so some additional procage. It looks like.
Yeah,
Divine
so we did
Ruin
something
and
again
Soul
very similar to
Reaver.
this in the last patch
And
as well.
possibly
This is
even
more
the
focused on
Cyclone's
actual
ring.
abilities that did not proc item effects
The
before.
final part.
Okay.
Yes, it does not. It's not our intention to let every single ability in the game proc items. Some, whether it's due to increased
Freaking garbage
or just
CC,
due to
man.
game balance
Right?
concerns, are
Can you
not
imagine
on
if
this
that
list.
actually
There are,
allowed you
it's
to
a possibility in the
proc
future we
freaking
could
Polynomicon?
do some additional investigation when it comes to the technology
From a
or just
distance like
other
that? Oh,
balance
no.
measures that we could put in to adjust certain characters that are not in this list that don't proc. But at this point, we're feeling pretty good about this list. It's not to say that we will never ever change them again, but this is kind of the last kind of real big
I'm gonna
push
have to
that we
test
feel like
that,
we need
dude.
to
If he
make
can
at this
proc
point in time.
Polynomicon with that
this.
range,
But
that's gonna be
to
crazy.
look at this list in more detail, we've got Cthulhu's Sever, which is his kind of initial slash attack when he
Yeah,
goes into his
In his
ultimate.
Yeah.
And then Chernobog's Heart of Cold. This is his passive, the explosion there. Pele's Magma Rush. Maman Brigitte's Party Trick, which is the Fire Breath.
Yeah.
And then Shibalunke's Branching Bolus are all able to proc for a variety of different damage and healing effectiveness percents.
Yeah, we came up with some rules here as well. As you can see, Cthulhu and Chernobog both at 100%, just because it kind of makes sense with those abilities and how often they can use. Whereas you get down to Pele, Maman, and Shibalunke, they can kind of just use those abilities all the time. Shibalunke is just his basic attack bowlers. Maman can cancel and start her party trick whenever she wants. Similar with
Yeah,
Pele, so
for
those had
sure.
to be much lower values. But the important thing is, well, the damage and healing is important too. But like, you know, Magma Rush and Party Trick will now proc Brawlers or Divine Ruin, and you know, Shibalunke will be able to proc Brawlers, I suppose, with his branching bowler. So you're able to get
Crusher
those,
as well,
yeah,
so
Crusher,
that's
Heartseeker. You get those effects even if it doesn't, like, if they're
Dude,
just
we've been
damage
streaming
effects,
for
yes, they reduce
2.5
down to 25%.
hours. This is
But if they're
craziness.
anti-heal or Gem of Isolation on Maman Brigitte, you know, you can proc that whenever you want. That's still the full amount. It's just the damage and the healing that's being reduced.
Yes.
Okay, got
Exactly.
it. Well, that's cool. A lot of new effects that can, I mean, that you can work those item procs into for a lot of diverse gameplay. That's really,
Yes.
I feel like the theme of this midseason is like items are, and things are being shaken up so much that the way you can build, the abilities you can rely on to utilize the build, it's going to be a lot of cool gameplay or game changers. So
Yeah, very excited to see what new build paths open up with these abilities.
yeah, it's gonna be y'all always figure out what, like, you're like, here's the set of rules that they've recently laid out. Let us twist them to the craziest possible lengths of the earth. So always excited to see that. So last but not least, we have one more thing to talk about, and it's abilities that can be fired while targeting close or inside of walls. So kind of
Yeah.
run me
Quality
through
of
what
life,
that is.
yeah.
Yeah, so this is our final bit here, but essentially, there are some abilities in Smite that cannot be fired all the way
Gotti?
into walls, over halfway into the wall, because it will cause XYZ issue. It could be a number of
What?
things
Don't
where,
jump into a
you know,
wall.
collisions don't work right. You can't jump into a wall. You can't place things like
they go
deployables
through
or
walls?
walls into walls up to
Or
a
just
certain
do
extent
next
because of
to
how they,
walls?
you know, push people in. Some of these are more okay for a variety of other reasons, but I'm just going to go through the list, and all of these you'll be able to fire into walls if you want, but you really shouldn't.
Yeah.
The ideal feeling is that if you are next to a wall trying to hit someone with these abilities, you are no longer going to have that big of an issue when it comes to actually putting them close to the wall.
Right.
Or it just
Yeah.
will not you
You
cast
can
it.
overlap this ability or any of these abilities into a wall and still hit them with the edge, right? If
Yep.
you would previously, let's say,
Okay, it
Scotty
doesn't go
permafrost,
through the
if
wall,
you
it
had
goes
put your target
into the
over
wall.
50%
Okay,
into
that's-
a wall, you couldn't,
that's a
you
big
couldn't
difference
throw it at
there.
a wall.
Yeah,
Right? So if there was an enemy right by a wall and you were just trying to throw it on them quickly, you couldn't throw it on them if you had that targeter in the slightly wrong spot.
Yep.
Now you can target it anywhere in a wall. It's fine. Obviously, you don't want to put it on outside of the map. That's not going to hit anybody.
Yeah,
But
do it if
it'll
you
be
want.
much easier to hit guys that are standing right next to structures or walls. So
Yep.
go ahead.
Yeah, let's just run through this list really quick. Of course,
Fire it
we've got
off.
Scotty Permafrost, this is her 3. Poseidon, Release the Kraken, of course, that's his ultimate. Bakasura's Regurgitate, which is his ultimate. Sylvanas' basic attacks, which is a big one. You can now
Yeah,
fire these
they're
over
over
walls
walls,
as
yeah.
well and right next to walls. And
Over
this is really
wall.
helpful for Phoenix Sieges, Tower Sieges, things
Yeah.
like that. Feels really, really nice. On top of that, we've got Ishtar's Strike Shot, which functions very
Lob.
similarly. That's the lob one.
Sylvanas
Jingwei's
works really good
Persistent
with
Gust,
Polynomicon.
Amu's and Cobb's Honey, Freya's Banish, and Ymir's Ice Wall are all of the abilities that are getting this pass as well. And so they feel really nice now to be able to not have to worry so much about opponents being really close to walls and just getting that annoying little click sound that you
Yeah.
just can't fire ability. Well, now you can.
AMC's Honey has me excited for that. Like I'm
Yeah,
gonna be
yeah.
like across the wall, like, thought you could take that camp, huh? Beans. So I'm excited for that.
Yep, it's gonna feel real nice. But that's about it in terms
That's it
of
for us.
Did it?
balance.
Yeah.
We did it.
We did it. So what a long show it's been. You know, this is
Yes.
mid-season. Y'all did a lot of work, a lot of cooking. So first and foremost, thank the both of you for all the hard work
Golly,
you
dude.
did
Thank
you.
here and coming on and talking through all of that, because that's a lot. Like y'all's ability to understand and remember like why you made changes like that, like always astounding. So thank y'all for the help. J-Mac, as always, thanks for
Yeah,
driving
thanks,
us up
J-Mac.
back there.
Thank you.
And then thanks to y'all for coming and hanging out with us. Like it's been a crazy 6 months so far, you know, 6 updates since the beginning of the year. So
Dang.
obviously there's a lot more in store for the rest of the year between Smite 1 and Smite 2. But
Yeah, and we got about
I guess
6
we'll go ahead
month
and wrap it up.
countdown
First
before
of all, y'all
Smite
y'all
1
already
is
know
irrelevant.
PTS on the way if it's not already here. So keep your eyes out for that. Hop in, start testing some of these things, start devising new builds when the patch goes live next Tuesday. And as always, let us know how you feel.
No,
if you bump
I'm
into
not going to
anything,
those
whether
patch
you're
notes. I'm
on
not going to do
Reddit,
a
in
patch
the
notes video
Discord,
after
on
this
Twitter,
craziness. Hell no.
wherever. Always let us know how you feel about things, because that is the easiest
Only
way for
about
us to make
200
the
people
game
ever will
the
look
best
at
we
it
can for
anyway,
y'all.
of those
So make sure
videos
to check out
anyway.
PTS soon. I said it at the beginning of the show, I'm going to say it again. Thanks, y'all. Thank you so much for last weekend. Like, as we continue to iterate through Smite 2, it's an alpha. And that's not an excuse, but that is what it is. You know, it's a game that is still changing constantly, and it's changing in directions that y'all are pushing it in. Y'all are really helping us drive towards whatever the final product's going to be. So please continue joining us for these alpha play tests as they open up, as we move towards the future, and continue providing all this feedback, whether it sounds positive or negative or whatever. Like, we really do appreciate all of it that you give us. So thanks again. And then last but not least, you know, I think y'all are doing a dev inside on
Yeah.
Friday, right?
Friday
So,
indeed.
yeah, y'all make sure to hang out on Friday for the chillin', and you know, bring your questions. You know, they're always happy to talk about why some of these changes came about, or how they think it's going to affect the game, or maybe why something that you thought should have changed didn't. So they got all the answers. They're cool. I'm just going to brag about them some more. Oh, but that's it. That's it. We did it. This is the mid-season update.
They never
So
take my
I'm gonna stop
questions.
talking to y'all now, because I'm sure you're tired of hearing it. So one more time, thank y'all all for being out and hanging out.
thank
you.
You know, the first
And,
question
thanks
I
everybody
have:
for
when
watching.
is
Catch you
Arena
later.
getting put into alpha? and
Made
testing for Smite 2.
in Georgia.
All right, so that's pretty much everything, dude. So keep in mind that the new, all these updates, and to include the new battle pass, is going into effect on Tuesday. So if you haven't finished your battle pass, you only got till Monday to do it. After that, you're pretty much SOL, right? With that said, usually I get codes for battle passes and for skins within the first 1 to 2 weeks of a new battle pass, right? So, I mean, if you want to spend your gems on a battle pass, you know, to each his own. But if you're looking to possibly win a battle pass, you know, we're going to have giveaways. If they give me battle pass codes, and usually they give me like 3 per season, then we'll end up doing a giveaway every stream we do. We'll do a giveaway. But I usually don't get those codes until like 1 to 2 weeks into the new battle pass, right? And just keep remember that those battle pass, once you get, like, say you get one of those battle pass codes, it's retroactive, right? So if you're already level 25, even if you do win the battle pass code, it'll give you all up to level 25. And the only thing you'll miss out on is like the extra 50% battle pass points. But all you Reapers are freaking smikeaholics anyway, so you probably could finish these freaking battle passes like 4 times over. So missing 1 or 2 weeks of 50% extra XP, I don't think it's gonna hurt you none. But it is what it is, right? But anyways, hey, yeah, a lot of crap's changed. I'm looking at possibly streaming. Well, I'm looking at streaming Tuesday, like we normally do, but for some reason I don't. I'll let you guys know by Monday, because I got a lot of stuff happening here on the back end. But I think we should be good for Tuesday, right? Again, if anybody's new, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I'm Dark Garza, the OG on the GC. We'll catch y'all next time.